Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go, let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know it can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News.
Start this show. Hey, let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, crew. Good morning, news crew. Good morning to you all. Shout out to the moderators, the members, the subbies, the crew. That's really what you all are, the crew. Thank you all for being here. Happy Monday. It is the first of the month. It's the first of the month. It is August 1st, 2022. I don't know where you are, but it is 66 degrees here with a little bit of rain. I am so forward looking to this month. I always tell you all, every time it starts a month, I get excited because you get to set out what you want to do for the month and just check that shit off the box. And so the biggest thing for me is I have to find a new place because my lease is coming near and I don't want to renew it. So that's like my biggest checkbox for the month of August. And so I'm going to spend the majority of my time doing that. But it's really good to connect with you all. I know last week I went missing in action and it was rightfully so. Monday, I knew I wasn't going to be coming live because I had stayed the night out. And it was like at least a good 45 minutes to get back home. And then get back home, and then I had to walk it was just a whole thing. So I said, no, I'm not going to go live Monday. But I for certain thought I was going to go live Wednesday and Friday. But my cousin needed me. She needed me. And she had a situation. And, I talked to her about, hey, I'm going to have to let my subbies know, like, what was going on. So she had a situation in a whole nother state, not in New York State, not in Maryland, but in a whole other state, and she had a court date to attend to, and this court date was the second court date given to her because she pushed the first one back. And I'm not going to give the details of the charge and all that good stuff, but she had to get there or else they were going to put a bench warrant out for her arrest. And my cousin got kids and a life, and so I'm cousin Roman, I find out at the last minute, and she tells me Tuesday, I have to do this. This is what we got to do. This is blah, blah, I need help. And I'm like, oh my God. So I didn't really didn't understand the gravity of what was going on. I'm like, okay, just go down there and do it. But it was deeper than that. So I ended up flying her here to Maryland State. She ended up flying in Tuesday night. Wednesday, we both went to the other state Mind you, this state is 3 states away. Lord Jesus. And on Wednesday, not only did I have that, but I had three meetings on Wednesday, 3 meetings. So I had to physically get out of them, but I virtually was there on the phone. So I'm traveling with her. I'm getting down there. And so we get to the court date, and you all was so pissed because this court date was literally for her only 15 minutes. It wasn't even that long, but she had to be there. So we did the court thing. We got back Thursday. She flew out Thursday night. Now, all of that is it's a lot more to it, but all of that in my life, I was out for the count. I was dead tired. I had spent like 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, dedicating myself to helping my cousin out. And she got out of the situation. I love you, cuz we even bumped heads with a lot of different things, but it was a great moment for her and for me too, to learn about myself. I one thing I caught her saying was, we got into a little tiff, and she was like, I just need to be around people who match my energy. And I'm looking at her like, I know who. First, I'm sitting like, who are you talking to? But I get it. Sometimes, certain things are appropriate, certain things aren't. My cousin is a lot more out there than I am. My cousin will say things and do things and ask things and just be out there. I'm not. I rather us figure it out here before we go all the way out there. And so I found her doing that a lot. While I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So then she got to one point, she was like, what did I do wrong now? Was that wrong? And I said, oh my God, am I a bitch? Am I really like that? And so it was eye opening. I caught myself like, okay, cause Pusa. But she got her lesson, and her biggest lesson was don't wait till the last minute on big shit. Jump to that shit at the early beginning stages before it just balloon up and manifest. So that's taken care of. I'm back. It felt good to actually, be in that position. I was in that position with my family a long time ago. Then I stepped away, but it felt good to just be there and be in support of her and get her through that. And I didn't want to put her business out there, and I didn't want to leave any kind of trail on my community wall of some incident because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how he was going to get out of it. So I just said, I'm not going to go live, because when I do go live, I'm going to have to say something or something. And so that's really, really what happened. I literally Wednesday and Thursday was in a whole nother state, literally upset, pissed off. I mean, not at my cousin, but just I had so much shit going on in my life. I almost couldn't find a place to keep my dog while I was doing that, because the place that I wanted to go to, I checked him in too late. She missed flights. I mean, oh my God, it was a lot. I drove to the airport to drop off to a flight that I thought was at a certain time, and it wasn't. So we missed the flight. It was just a lot. So I dealt with that last week. And sometimes you just have family emergencies, and it was an emergency. And I will always be there for my family and, the friends that I love dearly. So I thank you all for the patience. I thank you all for the kind emails, the checking up on me. I just hope everything's okay. I saw all of them, but out of respect for my cousin and her situation, I wanted to wait till I verbally said what happened to then be able to say, yo, I really had to check out. And if you follow me on Twitter and read my personal tweets, you'll probably all have already understood what I was going through, because I'm a Twitterer. So I was tweeting the whole time, and I'm like, oh my God. I will say though, they got some, where we went, they got some hotties, some cuties. It was definitely a nice sight to see, but I never want to be in that situation again. Not with her. And it reminded me of when I had my whole legal situation, and how if you don't have the funds to get an attorney or just like handle your business, you really will be caught out here on some shit. And so I think it's important for people to really understand the grasp of what they get themselves into, because it's easy to do some shit, but can you get out of that shit? And that was one thing that, my cousin was like, I ain't never, I know what the fuck. And I'm like, cuz it's too late to say that now. But yeah, Naries, good morning. Joe, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Naries, good morning. Okay, we're gonna get all into it. My joint, my joints change every day. Today I'm on heated. Got a lot of class, got a lot of E on me. I gotta bend myself. Oh, I'm on that this morning. I'm on heated. Miss Cruiser, hey boo, good morning to you. Brick Girl, shout out to you. Good morning, good morning. Hey Miss Toby, hey stranger, hey Miss Toby. Miss Toby, did you all link up this weekend? I know I checked out. I had to just for a little moment, but I hope you all got some crabs. I know it was raining either Saturday or Sunday. We got that up and down weather. Good morning, Gwen. Okay, are you ready? Well, look who decided to come visit. Okay, no, I've been here. I've been around. Good morning, Voodoo. Hey, boo. Oh, it's just Voodoo. No more Voodoo games. Voodoo. Hey, Nate. Hey, what up, Nate? Lord, not the cousin. Yes. My cousin that be dropped. Yeah, my cousin. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad everything worked out for you and your cousin. I am too. Cause we was sitting there for a minute, like, okay. As she was looking at me, I'm looking at her like, I don't know. We just gonna get here and see what happens. So, Joe, me too. Heated. Okay. That is my shit right there. Got a lot of class. Got a lot of Ivy on me. No, no, this weekend. Okay, well, please keep me in. I'm definitely down. I do need a good tail and a good beverage. Hey, Miss Paulette. Good morning, Paulette. Good morning, Paulette. Hey, Linda B. What up? Good morning. Good morning. Same as Virgo. My top three is Virgo, Groove, Church Girl, and Move. Move. Get out the way. Hey, Virgo Groove. I was like, she should have put this on Beyonce or Dangerously um because I was like, oh, this is giving me old Beyonce vibes. Church Girl, I was like, okay, I love the song, but Beyonce, Church Girl, you should have definitely dropped when the whole gospel and hip hop was collaborating. I think it would have had a bigger impact, even though it's having an impact. I think it would have been like, I can do the same shit y'all doing, but she moves when she want to move, and she definitely made a move. Cash App and bullshit. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, a good tell. I do want a good tell though. A good tell. A good tell. Can y'all see though, real quick, just an eye update? Do y'all see how like it's cool, it's gone, but I'm gonna forever have this little badge of honor that I fell on the gate. So I was telling my friend, I was like, I gotta come up with another story. I'm not gonna keep telling people that I tripped over my dog's leash. Like as he gets older, that story is gonna get like clumsy and dumb. So I need a new I need a new story. So who's trying to come up with new stories? Say I clipped myself. Okay. I don't think people gonna believe I clipped myself. If we doing top three alien super, oh, you an alien superstar? Cuff it, and I'm that girl. I'm that girl goes off. And if you do like I do, you put the lyrics on the TV and you sing. And I had a whole show. I got all her music videos. If you want to be honest, if like you want to just jump out there, I have the videos for her. But we will get into it because I think I see the play that she's about to do, especially with these three acts. Act one is the dance album. I'm saying act two is going to be an R&B album, and act three is going to be a collab album with her husband. And I was looking at some of the collaborations and people she's working with. She's working with like No ID and The Dream, which she always works with, but when she works with them, she makes so much music that it spans time, and she ends up dropping those other tracks into other projects. So I'm assuming if she's with The Dream and she's with No ID and she's pulling out all of this stuff, yeah, chances are we're going to get a whole bunch of projects. So I'm really excited. He next time simply say, gotta put my cape on and we will know family. Okay, period. Oh yes, I had to. I really did. And she was happy for it. She got frustrated a lot. She got frustrated. She got teary-eyed, not just at me, but her own family. Felt alone, like nobody wanted to help her. And I'm like, well, sometimes it's not that nobody want to help you or be there for you. It's just that people don't know and they can't jump on your dime or your time. You got to walk people in that situation with you. So when you get to a bump in it, it ain't like oh my God, it's like, oh, okay, I remember you telling me about that. Because as we get older, people start looking at you like, girl, you making them kind of mistakes? The fuck? And I had to tell her that, like, baby, sweet lips. Sister cousin, because I'm like her brother. She my sister. Where's Eli? Let me make sure everything is. Look at him. He just went to the groomers yesterday because he stepped on some gum, and I let him walk around the house with gum, and then he started stepping on paper, and he had paper. He had all shit under his. So that was around 3 o'clock. So I called the groomers. I'm like, listen, I'm not waiting till tomorrow. Y'all got to get this gum off of his paw. It was gum all over his paw. And so they were like, well, we close at 4. I said, so what can we do? That wasn't the question. So I took them up there, and they were so gracious. They used vegetable oil to pull the gum off. It's just a little bit up top, but I told her I can manage that each day. She said it'll come off, but he's sitting right here. You want to say hi? You gonna say, why are you coming to me? I don't want you. You gonna say hi? Look at him. Oh shit, so nitsy. Y'all see him in the background? I done touched the screen. This touch screen computer. Look at him. You gonna say hi, Momo? He's trying to sleep. He don't know. Like last week, I had to drop him off like that. So, and then he came back to me. I took Friday off from him, life and everything. He came back to me Saturday, and it was like, what do you be having going on in your life? Baby, you gotta wait. See, I done got him up. Taurine oil or A&D ointment will heal that up nicely. Okay, Taurine, I need to. Taurine oil, A&D ointment. As much as we be on virtual cameras, and let me just say this, it's not that I'm vain or anything, but as like a Black man who works with a lot, predominantly different ethnicity than myself, I'm always conscious of certain types of marks on my face, because I always feel like, what happened to you, what you've been through, and nobody will ask you, they'll just assume. So I always be like, let me just make sure this shit is cleared up, because that's a part of making it in like a corporate America or any type of structure, how your appearance. And so that's always, I'm always mindful of that. Trust me, when I had this and it was like protruding, and I hopped on camera just to show my supervisor, and she was like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, oh my God, the who came first before the what happened. No who. Ain't nobody put no fucking, I don't live that kind of life, first of all. Let me just throw that out there. No, that's not that. So now if we're gonna lay up, be gay, pure honey is that girl, and heat it at the end. Or if you want to be gay, now listen, let's not sit here and sleep on all up in your mind. I try to get all up in your mind. That's my shit too. If I want to get, what do I put on when I just want to? Because I've been ripping all of it. I think Move for me and Pure Honey is good. I like the one with T.S. Madison on too. Cuff It. I think it's Cuff It. Is it Cuff It? We'll get into it. Y'all listen. Hey, Eli. Yes, Eli is cutting up. Oh, Eli. He's up. He's over here under my feet. And I don't want to say go sit down, because then he gonna think, hey, you wanna sit? Boo boo? I'll be with you in a minute. I got you a good treat. I went shopping for him out of feeling so bad that I left him alone. So I went and spent like some money getting him some shit he don't need to eat. But that's what you do. So that's what happened to me. We're back. We're here. Back to the same script. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will be gracing your YouTube screens from 6:30 to about 9 in the morning. Getting a little bit more excited because of some things. And this is all to Naries. Naries, I hope you're listening, honey. So Naries hit me up one day and was like, listen, blah, 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 blah. You need to get that written in a contract, a statement signed and sealed in the deal. Naries, you know what I'm talking about. So when you sent me that, I reached out to X, Y, and Z. Like, listen, I done said something, so I just need this to be secured. So he responded, and his team responded and said, yes, everything is okay. We're just looking for a date. So when that date comes, I'm gonna let you know first, because you definitely was on me about it, and I appreciate that. Shout out to you about that. I appreciate it. Maddie is on Cozy. Yeah, on Cozy. She was like saying I'm black. I'm like fluorescent beige. I said, okay, Maddie, I remember that, but I didn't remember it in that entirety, in that context. But we're gonna get into that. All right, for the sake of time, let's go ahead and switch right over into hot topics. So I put everything down in the description box. So if you want to follow along, if there's anything of particular interest to you, The first thing I want to do is kick it off by wishing a well uh, tried and someone who's definitely become sort of a catalyst for Black women on television series, specifically of this magnitude. So I wanted to wish a rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek. Now, I didn't really watch Star Trek, so it really didn't hit me like that in terms of the impact on Star Trek. But she's definitely made an impact on Star Trek. Um, she died at 89 years old. Her son left us with a message. She was a trailblazer, one of the first Black actors to play a major role on a television series, and the type of role she had on Star Trek was groundbreaking. So her son left us with a message and well wishes, and I send my condolences to her son. He left us with this note: I regret to inform you that a great light in the firmament no longer shines for us as it has for so many years. Last night, my mother, Nichelle Nichols, succumbed to natural causes and passed away. Her light, however, like the ancient galaxies now being seen for the first time, will remain for us and future generations to enjoy, learn from, and draw inspiration. And he goes on to continue to wish her life well, and he also talks about her services will be for family members and the closest of her friends, and we request that her and our privacy be respected. And so she was so much of a trailblazer that I was reading something where she was about to stop her role on Star Trek because she wanted to go on to Broadway. But Dr. Martin Luther King was so inspired by her. He told her, he had said that Star Trek was the only show that he and his wife Coretta would allow their three little children to stay up and watch. She told King about her plans to leave the series because she wanted to take a role that was tied to Broadway. But she never got to tell him why, because he said, you cannot, for the first time on television, we will be seen as we should be seen every day, as intelligent, quality, beautiful people who can sing, dance, and go to space, who are professors and lawyers. So Dr. King went further, stating, if you leave, that door can be closed because your role is not a Black role and is not a female role. He can fill it with anybody, even an alien. So definitely going to miss her presence and what she's done for Black actors in Hollywood and Black people in general. So wanted to start the show with that. Now, this next topic, it went viral, but I had to talk about it today. I couldn't wait till Wednesday because I just am clueless. I'm like, how does this happen? How does this happen? So the Weather Channel is apologizing for showing a racial slur during their broadcast. So this is what popped up on the screen, y'all. Hello, Des Moines. This is your weather, my in. I was like, wait, what? How did that pop up? So they issued an apology. Now the apology was completely lackluster to me. Of course, they're gonna blame it on. They don't know how it got there. It could have been a hack or anything like that. But my thing is, I get sick and tired of people saying it's a hack because hacks can happen at any given time, any moment, and you can catch those hacks. So why now was this a hack? Who, what, when? It was too many where, whys, and hows for me. So check out what their apology on this. I guess you want to call it a mix-up. Uh-oh. Did I freeze? Did it freeze? Because I'm not seeing nothing on my end. I'm sorry, it froze. And I had to restart my whole entire thing. Damn. just got this fucking computer, yo. What is going on?
A developing story tonight. The Weather Channel is apologizing for a photo released from a viewer of the Weather Channel's Local on the 8th, sharing this photo you're about to see. It's a graphic on Thursday. The Weather Channel's cable network's Local on the 8th in Des Moines, including a racial slur. Now, the Weather Channel reports it removed the graphic as soon as it was aware. In a Facebook post saying, quote, "This did not originate with us, and we are in the process of investigating it further. We apologize to our viewers," the Weather Channel said on Facebook.
Now, this will be interesting. This will be interesting to see how this plays out, because I have a funny feeling that you'll see a lot of these little pop-ups on these networks. I find it funny because I think it's hard to infiltrate a network screen. It feels like somebody was sitting in that room behind a desk in a chair and they did it. And so instead of saying, we're going to internally investigate it, they're going to completely say it was a hack or it was somebody else. But, little shit like this don't get past me. It does not get past the desk of King Roman. And I apologize for that little mix-up, you all. I don't know why my computer is freezing like that. Did I freeze on you all? I'm a publicist, high key. Okay, I see. Oh, you are? Don't play. What the hell? I'm suing the news station. I'm in distress. I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose. One person there, however, may have. You're not frozen. Oh, okay. On my end, I couldn't see anything. I had to click out the screen and exit back in. All right. That was one other story. Now, this next story, I really couldn't show a lot of it on the screen, but I wanted to gather your thoughts on it. So there's this girl, she graduated from FAMU, and out of respect for, graduating and what she's been through, she's a provocative person, and, she's got these good grades. She's going to be a physical therapist. She posts a picture of her derriere in front of Florida A&M's, sort of this mosque that sits in front of the schools. It's sort of like a mascot, with the Florida A&M letters on the bottom. And, she posted it on social media and everybody had something to say about it. Now, she's definitely received a lot of backlash. I myself was like, wow. A lot of people had a lot of things to say. One of the things people are saying is, little do you know, it's not even about you. What you fail to understand is you just set us HBCUs thousands of steps back because you wanted your 15 minutes. Now, years beyond your departure, this will still affect FAMU in a negative way. That ain't it, and it will never be. Now, that was one person's opinion, and I'll show you the other side of that opinion. But if you want to see the full picture in its entirety, go to my Twitter channel, Twitter page, and scroll through it. I have it posted there. She has her cheeks out. The school released a statement basically saying that they are going to investigate. They're going to do an investigation. They saw the picture. That they're going to do an internal investigation. And my thing is that, you really can't do too much to her. She's graduated. What, you're going to take her degree back? There's not really too much they can do to her. The only thing they can do is hold people who are responsible for allowing that to happen on campus. If the act of being nude on campus is, illegal or, banned or prohibited. If that's the case, then who is held accountable for surveying and making sure? Is that security? Is that student affairs? How does she have access? All of those questions will come up. My thing to her, sweetheart, is okay. I get it. Because if you go to her Twitter and you go to her Instagram, she is provocative. She does get out like that. I don't have no problem with you doing shit like this. Yes, poor taste. I wouldn't do no shit like that. But wait till you secure the bag, honey. You just graduated. Wait till you get your job first. Because now that you're out there, your name is out there. And when they go to Google you, they're going to see your ass posted like that. And you want to be a therapist? What person is going to take you serious? Unless you're going to open up your own place. And that takes time. I think you really should have waited until after you secure the bag, maybe 2 months, go back up there, shake it, or have taken the picture, but waited until you got the bag to post it. Because I can tell you now, in the era of digital and social media, it's going to be hard to get rid of this. Your name is out there for this, and so other people have other stuff to say. For example, this girl, So she goes on to say, okay, now this is too much. Not one person is setting FAMU thousands of steps back. It's a photo shoot by a person individual. FSU has entire sex workers wearing their NeYo while on film and still in school. It drove up admission. Let's not do too much. And so that was her response. And I sort of bordered her response too. It's like, okay, her doing that is not going to set FAMU back. Yeah, it was in poor taste. People are saying every time they apply to FAMU, oh, that the girl where she got naked. Well, that's on FAMU. If the only thing people are going to be talking about is her, that's on them. That's not on nobody else. It's thousands, tens of thousands of students that go through that school every year. Do you think that every little thing they do on social media can be attributed back to them, even when they're doing it on the grounds of the campus, even when they're doing it with Florida A&M paraphernalia on? All of that stuff still is associated by the name, but it doesn't mean it diminishes it. Now, what she did, I would put it all on her. I would definitely make that, that was in poor taste. We totally felt like she disrespected the school and the traditions. We feel like she owes us an apology and move the fuck on. Girl, if you try to apply to anything else, honey, no. You can't show up for no ceremonies for the next 5 years. Go roll on and do that. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, I didn't think that FAMU was going to be falling off the wagon. Like, how? FAMU's been around before this girl's been existed. There's way more illustrious alumni than her that you can just put out there to just say, hey, clear this up for me. So for me, it was just like, I see her doing it, and I think that's all on her. But I wouldn't tie it back to FAMU. They didn't know. They didn't have no knowledge of it. I think it's a little bit unfair to do that. Somebody else said the girl in front of the FAMU snake just got her master's and that's her grad pick. Now, every time a prospective employer looks her up, that is what they will find. A photo shoot is one thing, but as a grad pick in front of the school, and again, that's on her. That's on her. I think the school will now next time be able to realize, I think they'll put protocols in place. There'll be explicit language that details, okay, regarding your photos or any picture taking on the campus grounds using any of our landmarks or something like that. I think they might have a little stronger approach, but I mean, it's only so much they can control. We cannot let fools prevent us from our intended purpose. Okay, I move like a linebacker with the Holy Ghost. She shot herself in the foot. Yes, she did. I mean, and you want to be a therapist? Begs the question, what kind of therapist are you looking to be? Because I don't know. I'll let her be my therapist. Did you see? So everybody was, all the dudes and shit was all on Twitter going off like, I bet you security was cuffing them cheeks as she was walking off campus. I'm like, and there's the problem. You got security on here on campus perpetuating it. So for me, again, it's a whole bigger dynamic. It's bigger than like that she has to deal with that, but the school also has to look at their own protocols. Like, okay, how did we get this? How did she be able to? No cameras were around, no police walking the campus during these hours. What is going on? Those are questions, very valid questions. And let's be clear, FAMU has survived. Okay, thank you. If Howard can get away with just 3 years ago, the dude who was going to school there and still in the financial aid and posting on social media, and the only reason I'm bringing it up because I know someone who know him, and they survived that, and nobody talked about it, and they're going on. What you think this is gonna do? This is only gonna make people know about the school and maybe want to like, okay, I forgot about FAMU. They're the kind of girls that be going there. Okay, I'll apply. That would be no sweat off my back. I'll be sitting in student affairs like, who was it? Put her on the blacklist. Get everybody in here. How y'all let this shit? Oh, now what happened? I think you need to take a more internal approach at this point. Good morning, conjured up. Well, she is a psych major. Psych majors have a rep. Is that what you don't say that? Because I got a friend who was a psych major. Oh, I was about to say, and she did have a rep. Oh, whatever happened to the financial aid? He started suing everybody because he felt like it was defamation. So he started suing folks. They're still in litigation and lost in court right now. And all he brags about is his lawsuit. Yeah, they're gonna end up paying me money. I stay out of it because some people I just don't have no time for or taste for. All them scams, all of that shit going on. Like the pastor, was it Bishop Lamont? I don't even get into the church sector, the church beef, But we're gonna talk about Bishop Lamar Whitehead and the scams and the stunts this dude be pulling. When it was all unfolding, I was like, I got to get to the crew. I know they see what I see. I know I felt it in my bones. I was like, I know they see what I see. If we talk like this almost every morning, every other morning, y'all know what I said. I said, you gotta be kidding me. You got out of all the scams. So we're gonna get to that story a little bit later. I guess we have to do what it takes to increase endowments and enrollments. I ain't saying, you know what I'm saying, but I'm saying what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, let's just be very clear. She's still a graduate. You know what I'm saying? She's still a graduate, not just a undergrad graduate. She's a graduate student, graduate level, master's level, and she's accomplished, you know. So I don't want that to be forgotten, but it will be overshadowed by the fact that you showed your cheeks. I mean, she probably gonna get offers from strip clubs or club appearances to walk through showing that ass. And if that's the lane you want to take off of this and you decide to pivot your career, well, you do have something to fall back on, but be clear of what you're stepping into. But doors will open for her. I'm telling you that now. She's already, you know, it ain't like she got to come in entry level. She got, she's a student. So hell, you want to strip and you're already a student. I mean, people look at it like, girl, you're going backwards, but shit, she might get more money going back. I don't know. I ain't trying to put her out there like that, but shit, your picture already put you out there like that. So the hell. Okay. Couldn't do that. No, sir. He acts like his shit don't stink. Like, I mean, seriously, I always laugh at people like that. Like, y'all are so crazy. You got to drink water just like me. If you stop drinking water, you'll die. So what makes you more better than me? What's more special about you? You, even with all the money in the world, you gotta drink some motherfucking water. I don't care if it's the expensivest water in the world, bitch. It's water. It's H2O. Child, we ain't worried about her. Let's talk about the new billionaire who is one of us. Rihanna? Riri? Are you talking about Rihanna? Shout out to the lottery ticket. And my TT's almost like, you gonna play? I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. So this was the FAMU Girl, and so yeah, sorry, sweetheart. I feel like you had to take the L on this one. It doesn't necessarily fall on the school. Now, just a small development now in the whole Meg and Tory case. So, and I'm like, I see the play here. So Megan Tory had a pretrial hearing last Thursday. And at this pretrial hearing, Tory's lawyer asked to push the trial date back to September, and citing that she herself, his attorney, has conflicting cases, a lot of cases going on at this time, and she wouldn't be able to attend the trial on August 12th. But the judge was like, the judge responded by saying, I'm not going to approve or deny this, but I'm going to tell you that this is very premature. You're putting the cart before the horse, So she told her to go back. What the judge is hoping is that these two will settle this before August 12th, and they don't have to get to a trial hearing. That's why the judge called it premature. Now, what I think, so Meg recently just blacked out all of her Instagram. I feel like, people was doing this beforehand when they released products, but Beyonce has now just made this like the go black your social media out so everybody know you got an album coming. So she just blacked her social media out, I think over last night. But she also took to her social media to let folks know that her album is finished and fans are anticipating her sophomore release, but she's not releasing a date. So I'm like, is Tory Lanez and his attorney trying to keep this case live and sort of going on while she's releasing projects? Because her last projects, her mixtapes and her singles have been crushed by this resounding what you got going on with Tory Lanez. Are you holding him down? Are you against the black man? All of that has been sort of behind her, and trying to move forward with her sophomore album, and you still got this beef going on, kind of sucks. And so she wants it to go on, move forward, get it done with. But it seems like they're trying to pull everything out to just drag it on and drag it on. I mean, I think we're a year later now, maybe, and it's like we're still at pre-trial and we're still at this point. So I looked at that and I said, I feel like there's some plays going on here. A lot of different plays going on here. Um, like I said, the judge called it premature to bump the trial back, and so they'll both be back August 12th to see if the conflicts clear up. Now, I'm hoping by that time they've come to some level of come to some level of okay, we'll resolve this way. But I think it may have gone too far simply because they both pulled some antics and stunts in the public eye, and so they both don't want to fall back on public opinion. Megan doesn't want to look like she's lying or she was trying to put something on him that he didn't do. And Tory is just believing he's completely innocent and that this was all over his penis and that this is just really two women fighting each other and I got caught up in the middle of it. And so it's like, baby, that's a little deep. She feel like you really did shoot her and you feel like it was a fight between them two and you got caught up in it. Well, how did you get caught up in it then? But I don't want to go back there. I just wanted to drop that little news off. So let me see. The same people talking logs into OnlyFans on and on incognito browsers, child, please. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was this Tupac story, which is so sad to me. So Tupac Sister says the trustee has not been transparent about rapper's estate amid claims millions were embezzled. So check this out. When Tupac passed away, when Tupac's mother passed away back in 2016, the estate was transferred over to his business executive, the guy who signed him to Interscope Records. And so ever since then, he's been managing sort of the estate and the beneficiaries and the payments and all of that good stuff. Well, the sister, and I don't want to get her name wrong, but it's Sakaiwa Shakur has filed a motion because she feels like he's hiding assets, he's spending money on his own self, and we don't see any information or documents or anything that's coming in. And I said, really? From Tupac Shakur's family? So here's what she's going on to have alleged is what he's doing. So in this legal battle that she has going on with him and the music executive over the estate, she's saying that he's been withholding information as he mishandles her brother's assets. She says that he feels like he has a false sense of entitlement, a disregard for transparency, and an unwillingness to properly comply with his obligation to account to the petitioners and act as a fiduciary. And so her attorneys wrote on Monday that Wiley has not been following what the judge has requested in terms of delivering specific information. And so I don't know if you all have ever seen him, but I did get a picture of him just to match a name to his face. His name is Tom Wiley. And this was the only recent picture I could pull up of him. He's the music executive. Now, I just think it's so interesting that we have a black man passed away, right? With a daughter, by the way, and a sister. And he is in control of their estate. And so they've been in this battle to sort of figure this out. But in my mind, wouldn't he want to just transfer that over to the family? What makes him feel like he has any? And he says he's the friend. And so the sister in this article says he is not his friend. He simply was someone who signed him to his deal and may have helped him in other deals along his career. But he certainly isn't his friend, especially if you're trying to keep something of this magnitude away from the family. So I'm going to stay tuned to this case. I really, it's sad. It's sad. I didn't think that it was to this magnitude that they didn't even have immediate access to these accounts, but they don't. He writes a check and they get paid. I'm like, whoa, that's why you got to handle your shit properly. Speaking of sisters, let's move on to another set of sisters. So the R. Kelly sisters are speaking out in defense of the singer. So they're saying that his 30-year sentence that he received in New York was due partly to racism. Okay, we're gonna watch the clip. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, they're lining up. They're trying to soften the public's image on R. Kelly in the United States because they did this interview in the UK, in the United States, so that when R. Kelly goes to trial in Chicago on, the child pornography charges and all those additional charges, it can be a softer touch. Don't be racist. And so the public can now look for signs of racism so they can even speak this even louder. And I'm sitting here looking like, girl, how is it racism when the victims are all black? Like the victims, where you mean racism from the judge to you all? So Check out what they had to say about it. Come on, don't freeze up on me this time, baby. Please. Please. Gosh.
Victims of sexual abuse, and we can reveal for the first time this morning that the convicted sex offender has been writing and sending letters from his prison cell claiming that his 30-year sentence was because of the color of his skin. And I can tell you, having recently covered his trial here in New York, that was not the case. The evidence against him was compelling, and after all, most of these victims were women of color. And a US prosecutor also involved in that case has told me this was never about race. This was simply the system doing its job in locking up a serial sexual predator.
African Americans have always been treated unfairly. And so I think that it has a lot to do with it, as well as other factors.
There are over 70% of the people, of the men of color, have been found guilty, and then they weren't. That don't mean they're guilty. Just because that he has been found guilty, that doesn't mean he's guilty.
Do you accept that he's done anything wrong at all?
If he's done anything wrong, none of us are perfect. But as far as the extent of what they're saying, holding someone hostage, and these females were treated like queens, that I don't believe. That doesn't add up. Robert does not have to hold anyone hostage. Women come at him because of his status of who he is. You know, you have thousands of women that come at him. Why does he have to hold a few hostage anywhere?
Can you really sit here and say that your brother has not been with underage girls?
I can say he may have been with younger women, but as far as underage girls, you know, and I stress girls, underage girls, who has seen that?
Well, it was proven in court that he married the singer Aaliyah when she was 15 years old.
I don't know that he married Aaliyah. I don't know that.
Yeah, we won't discuss.
I'm not going to discuss that.
What about the countless victims who came forward and said, R. Kelly abused me when I was underage, R. Kelly physically abused me, R. Kelly held me against my will and did repulsive things to me?
I believe a lot of the alleged victims are bitter.
You weren't there in that house.
Yeah, but what about the ones that were there?
Crimes were being committed.
What about the ones that were there? Well, why weren't the witnesses called? The people that said, okay, whenever they were asked to write statements, why weren't they ever called back? What about the people that actually said, no, I've never seen that?
A lot of people may say you're delusional.
Well, that's them. That a lot of people that's saying I'm delusional, they haven't been where we are. They haven't spoken to him.
But can you acknowledge the victims?
I'm not going to acknowledge something that I don't have the proof of. If there's a victim, I will acknowledge. But from what I've seen in court and from what I've studied and from what I've read, the only victim I've seen that's been stolen from, lied on, is Robert. No one's talking about the money that was being extorted from Robert. No one's talking about what was stolen from him. No one's talking about the businesses that were in his name. No one's talking about the bank accounts that were in his name. No one's talking about any of the millions of dollars that was ciphered from him. No one's talking about that because he's supposed to be the monster, and he's not a monster. He's not a pedophile. He was just taken advantage of.
The judge in the New York trial said in court that that case was essentially not about sex. It was about violence, cruelty, and control. And she painted a picture of your brother as someone who was a sex predator. And in so many ways, these other trials coming up will have a similar narrative.
We just want to make sure that we support him and give him the strength he needs, the prayers he needs. I'm not so concerned about, okay, I'm going to be stressed out about this. I'm going to be stressed out about that. I don't operate that way. So in operating in faith, I just believe that God is going to allow what needs to happen to happen.
Why are you concerned about his safety at the prison that he's in Chicago?
The main reason I'm concerned about Chicago is because I don't understand how another inmate was even allowed near a high-profile person like Robert. I don't understand. How were you able to get in his cell and start beating him in his head? How were you able to do that?
During the conversations you've had with him, has he ever cried or expressed regret or shown any emotions at all?
He'll be like, forgive them, Forgive
what
them.
he says.
Forgive them.
And I said, forgive them after all the lies, after all the things that have been said about you, all these
After they
lawsuits,
persecuted and
everything is
ridiculed
about
you in the
money, and the
media.
only thing that you can say is forgive
Just
them.
forgive them.
How can you sit here and say R. Kelly was the victim? A lot of people.
I just told you.
will
I
be
don't
confused.
care about what a lot of people. I can only go by what I see, what I know, what I've experienced. That's how I can sit here and say that.
I do understand where they come through because I was in an abusive relationship. So I truly understand where they're coming from. And I'm not knocking any alleged victims down at all. And I hope that everybody that's involved is restored and healed, period. But the robber that I have.
All right. That was a lot. Part of that, my first time was watching it with y'all. I was taking myself back, like, wait, what? Because I read the article and I said I'm gonna watch the clip with you all. And my first initial thoughts was they are trying, like I told you, they're trying to soften the blow on this man. But as I'm reading the chat, and I agree with you all, it is about the money. They first started talking about, and I'm sitting in the back listening, like, so if y'all feel like he's been taken advantage of, all these millions siphoned off, all of his stuff stolen, then why aren't y'all like filing lawsuits or going after those folks? If you really feel like there's been some issue there, take the money and do it. Don't complain about it, be about it. But then I said, oh, because they're beneficiaries of the money. They were assuming that if anything happened to him, they'd get access or they'd have more funds than they have now. And it's certainly not that way at all. And you can tell by looking at these women that they don't even believe themselves what they're saying. You gotta wait. They don't even. That's it. They don't even believe it themselves. Like the girl in the middle with the check mark eyebrows, she was sitting there like, well, what about this and what about that? And she was getting really frustrated with him. And I'm like, yeah, y'all are up there trying to defend something y'all know damn well y'all don't even believe. Y'all don't even believe the fact that there's no girls that was under the age that he didn't that he wasn't involved with illegally. You don't even believe that he married Aaliyah, even though a certificate was produced in court. Do we know that? Is that not real? Well, damn, girl, is the state lying? What you mean? Were you even at your brother's trial? So I was like, wow, they're pushing this narrative. And so it'll be interesting to see how the U.S. public responds to this. And just looking at the chat, y'all are like, girl, I ain't going. How many young women were groomed? His behavior was trackable. That's what got him them years. And then, so you know, his Chicago case.
As the disgraced US singer R. Kelly prepares to go on trial next.
His case in Chicago is involving the case in Chicago is involving 4 counts of the production of child pornography, 5 counts of child sex trafficking, 3 counts of receipt of child pornography, and 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States. So he's been compounded with a lot of different things. And I'm sure they're all weaving together. So evidence will be heavy on him in this. And then, I won't say we all, but the tapes that he has had, they've been out for years. And I mean, I'm shocked they're just now getting to prosecuting him for those kinds of things. I couldn't. What about the African American women who were violated? That's what I kept saying, like racism. Are you slow? If it was racism, he wouldn't have got 30 years. He would have got like 5 years, 4 years, because they don't really give a fuck about the black girls and what happened to them. He would have got a slimmer sentence, but he got a hefty sentence because it wasn't no racism. Everybody saw it for exactly what it was. Backwards, like actually moving forward, but going backwards at the same time is all I see these ladies doing. They need to sit down, stop diluting the issue of racism with an evident sexual predator, period. They probably are the women who would turn a blind eye to their boyfriend messing with their children and get their whole heart snatched out their chest. He was with underage girls, period. Like you saw them literally trying to like not say anything or get themselves messed up. And it tells me that they watched the other interview with the other those girls. They watched that interview and saw how things were taken out of context and misconstrued, and they tried their hardest to be very clear and articulate with their words, but at the same time, a lie is a lie, and It don't matter who tells it. People can tell and see, like, sweetie, like, even if we sitting down over a cup of coffee and it's me and you, do you believe that? Or you just believe it's a harsh sentence for R. Kelly? Because they can be two different things. You can believe that your brother did commit these acts, and you can believe that it's a harsh sentence. It doesn't have to mean that there's racism or anything at play. Yeah, you can believe both. That's fine. They're two separate things, and you can yes and yes. They don't have to be yes and no. Like, yeah, he did do wrong, and yeah, you may feel like it's a harsh sentence, but a lot of people feel that way. You're not alone. They might have a club or society for people, for families and friends who feel, disgruntled by the system. Maybe y'all might need to join that and search that way for relief. But coming out here with these statements, y'all just only make yourselves, it's not a good look. I'm sorry. R. Kelly writing letters, or was he drawing pictures and wasn't one of his sisters molested? Stop, bitch. He married that girl. Like, are we finna play that game? They are mad about the money they can't get. Period. You said it. Well, I've seen Nate. I just had to say, like, I put the words down, but yeah, I saw the video and I was very astonished. Like, wow. And people were trying to tell me that's his twin brother, and I kept saying, no, that is R. Kelly. Oh, it's about the money. Denial is a motherfucker, ain't it? Definitely about the money. The other one is quiet. Yeah, the other one is quiet. And only the other one on the left was sitting there like, and I don't want to offend the victims. I was an abused victim myself, so I can understand. I was like, look at y'all trying to strike a balance between all three of y'all. One is on a good foot. The other one is just out here being assertive, and the other one don't know. She just twiddling her thumbs for the check that they getting, because they getting a check from this interview. That wasn't no free interview. They got flown out, put up in a hotel. They probably got a meal stipend, and they sat down and spilled the beans. And I'm sure for that, they probably got maybe about all three together, no more than maybe $40,000. I could see them getting $10,000 a piece, and then $10,000 going on expenses, travel expenses, and all that other shit. But I don't see them being like $100,000 interview. No, girl, we call you on the phone at that point. What's a good time for you? Is this the sister who molested him? Yes, that's what she was saying. Well, and wasn't one of his sisters the sister molested him? I saw the tape too, Voodoo. Good morning, Journey. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming through. They better hope he didn't touch any of their children. Okay, it's a whole fucking fact. And to be honest with you, Miss Toby, let's just go down this road. If he did, given how they just responded on that interview, I think they would have probably handled that internally and not said a fucking word publicly. Like, completely kept that quiet. Because of maybe a financial situation, obligation he had to them. If that's the case, allegedly. But yeah, I would be very careful about that too. So I thought that was interesting. They came out here, talking about racism. Girl, bye. So the next story I wanted to talk about was this Chance and Kanye. So this video went viral of Kanye airing Chance out. And so it's been misconstrued, apparently, because it's not what it was. Chance had flown out to see Kanye, and this was during the time where not George Bush, but Donald Trump was running, and Kanye was trying to help him with that, and he was living out in Wyoming, and we saw the headlines. And so Chance had flown out to that ranch to sort of, hang with him. He had asked people to come out and be with him at that time. And something happened, ensued, and we got, sort of this little kerfuffle, if you want to call it. But check this out.
So, Kanye is finishing his album. He wanted his people around him. Chance, honestly, because of what he was reading, he came through to just check Kanye. And, again, Kanye deals with all his issues at all times. And, they got into it, but they worked it out. at the end of the day, chances are just to be a friend. So, you know, Kanye is finishing his album. He wanted his people around him. Chance, honestly, because of what he was reading, you know, he came through to just check Kanye. You know, and you know, again, Kanye deals with all his issues at all times. And you know, they got into it, but they worked it out.
Kanye is a whole fool. And so, you know, Chance the Rapper spoke out. He was, I think it was Power 92.3, but he got a chance to sit down and explain this viral video to us and exactly what had happened. So here's his side of the story. Play at 44 seconds. Perfect.
I think it's both. I feel like obviously it's a video, so it's a clip of a larger moment. Like everybody's like no one's ever gonna get the full story of anything that goes on when you see in a video clip. And yeah, people do take it and run with it because I saw people put like fake captions under the video to make it look like he was talking about my music or something like that.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, it's like, you know, this is real life. Like I have real friends and they go through real problems. And, you know, I try and be my most real self, you know, and talk to people the way that I talk to them, like as if they're my friend and not as if they're like anything other than that. And I think like, you know, that video clip, I think kind of exploited a moment that was like you said, it was a genuine moment. Like I did come out there to check on my friend and, you know, I got, you know, me and a lot of other people still got love for Ye, but he's a human. He's not perfect. He obviously was going through it at that time. And, you know, stuff happens.
Did that make you back away or was
it made me evaluate my friendship with him for sure. Cause it was like, I had never been so close to him going through an episode. So it was like, you know.
So in watching that though, in like 2020 hindsight, now watching and seeing the revolving closing door of friendships he has with folks, Kid Cudi, Chance the Rapper, now him and Nicki are feuding. I think that feud is coming from him him rapping alongside Cardi B, him and Jay-Z. You can tell that there is definitely anger issues. There's definitely other issues that Kanye is dealing with behind the scenes then, and I still think to this day. And for a long time, people have allowed him to just disrespect them like that behind the scenes. And when you do that and it never goes unchecked, the public will check you because the public was where the empathy lies here. And so I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, see, you could do that shit for a long time. But nowadays, that shit is not cool coming from somebody like Kanye West. And so I saw that and I said, wow, had that leaked back then when it happened, I think people would have had a different, like, wow, you know, calm your ass down. People don't see him lashing out at people that he likes like that a lot. And that sets it hits a different kind of nerve with folks. So I wanted to talk about that Chance and Kanye West. It's saying it made him reevaluate his friendship. And I think, you know, like he said, him and others have reevaluated their friendship. All right, now let's get into Renaissance. So Beyonce has dropped Act 1 Renaissance. She dropped it on Friday, July 29th. And when I tell you everybody was going crazy, everybody was going nuts. Even people, I was seeing people who don't even like hold on. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta get this screen together on my end. Okay. All right. Okay. So Beyonce released her project. She released her project, and there's been a lot of talk about it. I think we talked about this though. This was going to be released, and the way she was going to release it was going to start with a more of a London European release, and then it's going to slowly drift over here. It doesn't feel like it's a drift over here. It feels like we all have consumed it together, but it truly is. They were hosting parties in the UK. I posted some video clips of the parties on my Instagram. I mean, on my Twitter. I can't play them because they have some of the music in them, and they have like long music in them, and so I didn't want to like have her strike me down to the back of my knees. So watch over there. But she had a London party, she had a Paris party. They had parties all over there, and the big thing is they're calling them Club Renaissance, and she has the horse, the unicorn horse, or whatever she's calling this sculpture. Everyone is setting those sort of as the prop at the party along with the disco ball. So I was like, oh, this is a clever little release that you're trying to make for this album. Did I like the album? Of course I like the album. And not because I am a Beyonce fan, but I like the album because I felt like it was a lot of creativity, work, production, samples in this album. And if you are a Beyonce fan, you'll even appreciate the bridges, the harmonies, the structure of some of the music, the way they put it together. I really was listening to some songs and I'm like, you could take the bridge out of this song and put it somewhere else. That's how well I could tell she was doing this. And she says she recorded it during the pandemic over a span of like 2 to 3 years. So I could see her working on parts of songs and then just sliding it in. So we'll talk about some of the samples. I'm not gonna put them all because they all have copyright on them. So some of the first week predictions of Renaissance is that she is set to have another #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart, which sees her adopt a more dance-forward sound than she's typically known for. She's projected to earn between 275,000 and 315,000 equivalent album units. And now that's great for her. Lemonade was 635,000 album equivalents, and at her lowest tier was Black is Power, coming in at like 64,000 album equivalent units. So this is definitely still up there, still top tier. Now, the people she was competing with was Harry Styles. I think his album was called Truly Harry. He got a couple cuts under that I fuck with. Harry Styles, her, and who was the other person she was competing with? She was competing with Harry Styles. It was another person she was competing with for the charts. It definitely wasn't Drake. And she definitely took her spot. Let's talk about, so it leaked. Now, let's talk about leaked. So that she released this statement on her site. So the album leaked, and you all actually waited until the proper release time so you all can enjoy it together. I've never seen anything like it. I can't thank y'all all enough for your love and protection. I appreciate you for calling out anyone that was trying to sneak into the club early, hence Club Renaissance. It means the world to me. Thank you for your unwavering support. Thank you for being patient. We are going to take our time and enjoy the music. I will continue to give my all and my best to bring you joy. I love you deeply. So she released that, and she did release a statement about her album. She thanked her babies for giving her the space and creativity to do this album. Her husband, she thanked her father for just inspiring her to be the woman she is in terms of her music and her work ethic. She thanked her mother. She loved her so much. And she also thanked a lot of the people in the music industry who have been forgotten, who may have been fallen, who like passed away and been forgotten. So she wanted to thank them for this music. She dedicated the album to her uncle, oh my God, I can't, Uncle Charlie, not Uncle Charlie, Uncle Johnny. Uncle Johnny made my dress that cheap spandex. It looks a mess. She dedicated to him. He passed away, but she said his music, he used to always play cuts like this for her when he was around. And so it really inspired her in this album. So it's like, oh, because for a long time I felt like Beyonce was like cool with the gays, but wasn't like all the way in. You rarely get to see her doing, straight up, dedications. And not that she has to, but this definitely was a project she made for her stands. Now in this music, she had a lot of messages. She talked about Karens. She said she calls out Karens. What she said was, we was just chilling, minding our business, popping our pain and champagne through this coiling, sipping it up, flicking it up. All this good energy got you all in your feelings. I'm crazy. I'm swearing. I'm daring. Your man staring. I just entered the country with derringers because them Karens just turned into terrorists. She talked about that. I was like, oh, that's cute. Little way to throw it in there. It was on the track Energy, and we'll talk about Energy too. It was a sample project, and it was sampled from Khalees's Milkshake, and Khalees had a lot to say. Khalees actually did not appreciate her sampling the music, and we'll get into that. She also talked about her sister Solange. She on Cozy, she talks about she's a hero. She survived all she's been through, confident. Damn, she's lethal. Might I suggest you don't fuck with my sis because she's comfortable. And basically, saying, don't fuck with my sis. Pretty much, whatever we assume or thought about her, Jay-Z in that fight, Beyonce's response is basically don't fuck with my sis. So, and I'm gonna leave it at that too. Like, okay, I guess that was to Jay-Z because I don't think none of us was fucking with him. And then, the project had a lot of different samples. So she sampled a lot of different, I think there was upwards of 30 different artists who were sampled on this project, and no live feature. Like there was no person that was featuring this person on the album. So a lot of it was a lot of samples. So she sampled T.S. Madison in the I Am in her video I Am Black Bitch. And like I said earlier in this video, Bitch I'm Black, I didn't even realize that T.S. Madison had put this together, but this was the little part that she sampled. I said, go on T.S. Madison. You going for
Bitch I'm black. Bitch I'm black. Bitch I'm blacker than black. Bitch I'm dark brown, bitch chocolate brown, deep down to the soul black. Bitch, I'm so black, bitch, I like fried bologna sandwiches, bitch, honey, when I'm hungry. Bitch, I'm so black, bitch, I like hot dogs, motherfucking fried on the stove, bitch, until one side of it black. I won't eat it unless it's black. Bitch, I'm so motherfucking black, bitch, I cut up Spam, bitch, and I put it in salad, bitch, and I feed it to the other motherfucking blacks that don't eat ham. I'm so black, bitch, I didn't even want to comb the naps out this motherfucking synthetic wig. Do you hear me? Bitch, I'm black. I'm probably one of the blackest motherfuckers walking around here on this motherfucker.
Oh my God, I thought that was so clever. Who would have thought? I guess she watched these videos in a collection. Clearly, if some of these major artists knew, T.S. Madison probably had no idea that she was going to be involved in this project. Now, here's what I found interesting. One of my favorite songs off the album is Heated. Actually was playing that earlier today. And come to find out, Heated was a whole demo track from Drake for his Scary Hours mixtape that came out back in 2021. And I said, look at Drake on the melodies. So listen to Drake's demo sample of Heated. And I said, I actually enjoyed Drake's sample. Actually, I was trying to find the real record, but I couldn't find the record. I know I got like 1,000 screens open. I gotta squint to see which one to pull up. Got a lot of bags, got a lot of ivy on me. Can't copyright me on this though. Woo!
Hey, on me, I gotta send myself out. I gotta send myself out. I gotta pull it down here. Yeah. You got me here. Hey, I got a lot of bands, I got a lot of special on me.
I said, wow, I think he did a good job, actually.
Hey, on me, I gotta send myself out. I gotta send myself out. I gotta pull it down here. Yeah. You got me here. Hey, I got a lot of bands.
Got a lot of bands, got a lot of ivy on me. And so she also sampled. Now, I don't know if you all remember the artists Lydell Townsend and MTF, but she sampled them with the track "Get With You." You can check that out on YouTube and a whole cater of other artists. Now, and check out the credits. I just wanted to show those two that she sampled. Now let's get into some of the criticism. So first person I want to pull up is Khalees. Now Khalees had a problem with her sampling her on Energy Track. You know, for her it's more like a it wasn't a collaboration, it was more of a theft. And I said, oh, you're calling it theft? I think that's a little bit harsh, but she's calling it theft. A lot of people say it's theft as well. Where is the damn clip? All right, let's check out Khalees. Baby, Khalees got attitude on her too. I like it. I like it, if you ask me.
Okay, so I just got off stage, but I got off and I saw these retarded comments. So let me just respond. There were some good ones too, but you know, we'll get to those after. So here's the first thing. My hair is cute. Here's the first issue. Okay, number one, it's not even like I'm a human being, so I get pissed off and I get ticked off, right? I'm an artist, so I am, as Erica said, I'm sensitive about my shit. The reality is, okay, is that my real beef is not only with Beyonce, because at the end of the day, she sampled a record, she's copied me before, she's done it before, so have many other artists. It's fine. I don't care about that. The issue is that not only are we female artists, okay, black female artists in an industry that there's not that many of us, right? We've met each other, we know each other, we have mutual friends. It's not hard. She can contact, right? Ash Nico, who's what, 20? She's a young white girl. She reached out when she freaking, like, it's just common decency, right? It's common decency, especially because, as so many of you pointed out, as though I don't know, but let me help you, okay? I know what I own and what I don't own. I also know the lies that were told. I also know the things that were stolen. Publishing was stolen. People were swindled out of rights. It happens all the time, especially back then. So it's not about me being mad about Beyonce. Everyone's like, you're all sheep. And I'm talking to the people who are obsessed and blind, just like, like, it's so dumb. It's so ignorant. It's so ignorant. She's one issue because it was stupid and disrespectful, and she should have at least reached out. But the real issue is the fact that the people like Pharrell and like Chad really is like an amoeba and just, he's spineless. It's a miracle he can keep his neck up. But Pharrell knows better. This is a direct hit at me. He does this stuff all the time. It's very petty, very, very, very. And the reality is that it's frustrating. I have the right to be frustrated. Why? Because no one had the human decency to call and be like, yo, hey, would like to use your record. Which, by the way, the reason I'm annoyed is because I know it was on purpose. This is not like they were in the studio. No, this was an on purpose direct hit, which is very passive aggressive. It's very petty. It's very stupid. And I'm going to say what I have to say. I don't mince my words. So all of you Beyonce fans, knock yourselves out. I'm not mad like that. It's not about me being jealous of someone using my song. That's the dumbest, most ignorant thing I've ever heard. Like, grow up. I was not thinking about her or no one else. Not even on no shade. Just not thinking about living my greatest, best life, as I always do. So it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that from one artist to another, you should have the decency and the common sense and the courtesy to call, reach out, a manager, an agent, anybody, just to be like, yo, heads up, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're doing. Even if you're going to do it anyway, just common decency. Like I said, it's happened before where people at least had the wherewithal to be like, yo, using your record, we understand that like Pharrell totally swindled you out of your stuff. Just want to give the respect because that's what you do, right? No, that's not.
Okay, I had to pause on the play. No, she has a point, but her point is just not. It's not. It won't be. It's not a legal point. It's a moral point because she doesn't own Milkshake. Pharrell owns Milkshake, and he has the rights to that song. And so if some artist wants to sample it, that's who they go to get it cleared, not her. She's talked about this before. She's been swindled out of that deal. It was a bad fucking deal from the get-go. And their relationship went sour. And so I guess she feels like it's a shot at her. You know, and I think she's valid. I had to put myself in her shoes as an artist. You make one of your top hits, you know, one of your biggest selling records, and you know, you don't feel like you even get the respect for somebody, you know, who's a well-established artist to say, hey, I'm about to sample this. Even though I don't have the rights, you can do it anyway. I'm giving you a heads up. It's sort of like you're Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? If it's almost like you didn't want her to say no because you knew she was gonna say no. You couldn't make it something different. So that was the only thing I saw. I was like, maybe she could have, but she doesn't have any. She couldn't go to court about it. She couldn't do any. She's not getting any residuals, or you know, she'll get residuals, but it ain't gonna be as like Pharrell's in terms of this song and the impact of it. But I did feel her frustrations, and it's interesting to see. Beyonce has done this with a lot of artists on here. Robin S. first says she had no idea of it until her son told her about it, and she received flowers from Beyonce. A number of artists, you know, Big Frida was shocked and surprised. Who was the other artist? We're gonna go through the list of these features on this album because it was a lot of I call them silent features because they're not featured on the album per se, but they're featured. So here, let's take a scroll real quick. So, and I'm That Girl. She sampled Tommy Wright's Princess Loco, Still Pimpin'. I'm gonna play a little bit real quick. I'm gonna be copyrighted all the way down. It's okay. And you hear in the background while she's coming on saying, I'm that girl. I said, oh, you know, digged in the archives and got something. But, you know, she's from Houston. And during that era of her growing up, she, you know, sort of listened to this kind of music. Cozy, this is who I was telling you all. She got some of her ideas for Cozy from. And I listened to the track. I said, oh, this is interesting. He was doing it like this then. So you hear that little funky beat? I definitely would have been in the bar. Hey. So you know I had to download that little track right there. I said, I'll take that cut. She also featured this Unique, which is music. I showed you all the Bitch I'm Black T.S. Madison that she featured also. On Alien Superstar, Moonraker. This was the one I knew that this was going to be sample part of this song. I'm Too Sexy. Will you play?
I am sexy for my love.
Okay.
Sexy for my love. Love's going.
And that's all we'll play from that. Okay. Cuff It had a lot. I think Cuff It had a lot. Ooh La La. Energy, Milkshake. We can't watch that. Big Frida. Break My Soul, of course, was Robin S. and Big Frida. I don't know why they didn't. Oh, Big Frida. Yep. Church Girl was the Clark sisters. And I thought this was so interesting because I felt like Church Girl was a record that Kanye was sort of put together. It gave me very much so, you know, how he does the samples. I'm not saying he's the only one because Pharrell has done samples too and before Kanye, as well as other producers, but he does it really, really well. So I heard, she sampled this beat in the background of, which one is this? Church Girl. Yeah, Church Girl. So, you know, a lot of the girls dropping it. And where they at? Lynn Collins, Think About It, Showboys, America Has a Problem, Straight from Cocaine, America Has a Problem, Pierre, Honey, Moy, Renee, Miss Honey. And it was so funny because I listened to the song. I was like, oh my God, word for word, B. Word for word. Summer Renaissance was a song I couldn't really get into, but it samples Donna Summer's I Feel Love. So as you can see, there's a lot of samples. There's some samples on there that we didn't even see on that list, which was like the Drake samples and stuff like that. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, BMW. Okay. The beginning of Slay is Messy Maya from New Orleans voice, which he said similar quotes. She took a lot directly. I think she should have got approval. That's just my opinion. She got approved for the owner of the song, Pharrell. You sound like a straight up fan. You must have been having to go back to back this past weekend. An artist should always acknowledge the source and inspiration, especially from other artists. Nothing is original. I understand her feeling. Yeah, I had to understand it too. It could have been handled better, but she needs to focus on Pharrell. True Voodoo. Well, I agree with her, although it's his still, it's her voice. Right. And we also have to remember that we don't know the full stories on these artistic creations. It's Beyonce. She doesn't clear anything with anybody. That doesn't need to know. If you don't own your master, you don't need to know. Sorry, not sorry. Grand Rising, Zaire. Grand Rising. The way she sends out trunks of clothing, she could have reached out to the artists that were swindled out of their masters and publishing. That's true. That's why I said you're Beyonce. Why you couldn't just say, "Hey, girl, I'm using this song"? Most time, people will be like, "Oh, great, wonderful." Shit, they may queue up some music to release during that time too. So if people, get wind of it. But I don't think she wanted to afford those opportunities to her. Or maybe Pharrell said, no, don't say nothing. I think Kelly Rowland should play Donna Summers if they ever make a move. Oh, that is a good idea. Because she already sings. That's a really good idea. And she has the body, them legs. Now, Beyonce would be mad about some shit like that. Yes, true. Beehive fan there. Okay. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. So that was some of her features. And Khalees really not really being too happy about her having an album. I enjoy the album, some of my favorite cuts. I wonder if she's snatching us down. She probably snatching us down, but it's Heated. I made a whole playlist just of the Ren tracks that I like, because I don't like the entire body of work, but I like this album. I feel like it's something that she's been wanting to do for a long time, from Blow, from Kitty Cat, from Green Light. Oh, all of those different mechanics she put in her earlier music sort of prepare some of her fans for this kind of album, bringing back some of the, the music styles from the 90s and the 80s, club music, and infusing it into today's topics and genres. Some of us liked it. A lot of, not a lot of people, but there's a very select few of people who feels like, they expected more. They thought it was going to be something bigger, something more evolutionary. And I'm like, no artist who's been gone from a long time is going to come out here and everybody likes what they've done. Some people are still used to her old stuff. I'm still used to, I thought it was going to be a ballad driven, record till I saw her Break My Soul. And I'm like, oh, she's going to dance. But there's two more albums to come. She said this is a 3-act project. Act 1, the dance project. I feel like we're going to get an Act 2. In between Act 1 and Act 2, we may get a video anthology of all the videos, and we get to see the true vision of what she planned to do. There is a video that she put out on her website, just sort of like a teaser for the album. It has some music in it. I couldn't play it here, but you should check that out too. I think it's, for the most part, I give it out of all her albums, it still to me doesn't top my favorite album of hers, which is Dangerous. Then it's gonna be, is it 4 or Beyonce? And then Lemonade. I gotta see which one. I think it's Beyonce. But it doesn't top it's growing on me. It's definitely something to make me want to dance. I all of her ballads on here, the All Up in My Mind, all of the songs where she's singing, I enjoyed the most. Move, Virgo's Groove, Alien Superstar, Thick. Okay, all of those songs I enjoyed. So shout out to her. I enjoyed the record. I know some people felt like it was like, okay, let's next subject, move on. And unfortunately, it's B's time. Let her rock out. If you don't like it, turn the radio off, I suggest to you. But she's definitely coming back, and I enjoy her music. I enjoy the music. I enjoy this project. I enjoy anybody who puts together like a project. You know what I mean? Like thoroughly thought through, not just slamming some shit together, just taking their time. Speaking of, Nicki Minaj got her 6-part docu-series coming up. And I said, this is the rebranding of Nicki Minaj. And I always feel like, this is her trying to put a new image and face out in front of us. And Cardi B posted to her Twitter late last night or yesterday, BRB, be right back, meaning, she's going away for a little bit and I'm thinking maybe she's in album mode. So right now it's the transition for a lot of artists who are trying to do new things and switch up their image because they're growing up. You know, we ain't gonna always get the booty popping music that we want, but she certainly gave us some booty popping music to definitely drop it low and pick it right back on up. So I'm down for it. Beyonce wants to play Tina Turner and Kelly looks like Donna. Do you think they're gonna give Beyonce the Tina Turner role? Just honestly, that Work It video by Beyonce is Tina Turner. Do you think she'll play? You think they'll give her that role? I always felt like they're gonna give someone with a black woman with a British accent, but maybe it could be in her later in her career. Pound out. So yeah, that's my take on the album. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. The album. I just thought she was gonna give us a visual immediately, but I think the visuals will come a little later after this album is played, and maybe week 3 we'll get a visual. But I know that she's gonna be touring out in London, and then she'll be bringing that leg of the tour. I went to a sip and smoke, little Beyonce gathering on Saturday, and it was just so gay. I mean, the album came out Friday. Everybody knew the lyrics. And I'm sitting there looking like, damn, I knew lyrics to some songs, but I didn't know lyrics like these motherfuckers was like, hold up. This is my part. I'm like, okay. And it has inspired people to want to start, looking at some of the styles and dresses from the disco era, pulling out more of, the rhinestones, what did he have on? It looked like tennis skirts, whatever those skirts was called. I'm looking like, oh wow, y'all really stepping into this. So it's exciting to see her back on the scene doing her thing like this. Yes, okay. It was a whole thing. I had my moment on Heated and on All Up in Your Mind. I'm trying to get all up in your mind. I had a whole concept of the video in my head too for All Up in Your Mind. Like I wanted her to be performing in somebody's brain. And I wanted her every time she stepped on some little vein or some nerve, it's pulling a certain string out of them to do certain things. I'm like, damn. All right, so where we at? Oh yes, I got it. So moving on. Now, this is interesting because I want to see how this person responds. So NeNe Leakes is looking to Kathy Griffin as her star witness in $1 billion racism lawsuit against Bravo. So you remember NeNe Leakes filed a lawsuit against Bravo and Andy for alleged discrimination back in April. And so far, we haven't really heard too much of it. But she's now going publicly to say that she would like for Kathy Griffin to become one of her key witnesses in this lawsuit, because most of the folks at Bravo or any of the other housewives will not talk to her or involve themselves in this lawsuit. I'm like, no shit. You knew you was gonna step out on the ledge doing this one. And so she the kicker that I've learned is that NeNe, when she was hired by Bravo, she signed a contract. And in that contract, she signed an arbitration clause. And if you know anything about an arbitration clause, it's sort of how you would settle a dispute or some agreement outlined in that context with the third party. And until you both come to sort of a remediation, sort of something that settles it on both sides amicably, and this third party agrees and approves to it. So they're pushing back to NeNe like, we see your damn lawsuit, girl, or whatever, but you can't file no lawsuit with us. You got to come over here and do this arbitration. You got to come over here and sit down with your lawyers, our lawyers, and a third party, and we got to settle this way. And I think a lot of entertainers in the industry, when they are signed with networks, they have these clauses for these reasons, that you can't afterwards get all this money from us and then decide to sue us. That's something you should settle with us, internally, because when they go to court, a lot of stuff is exposed at these networks. Salaries, all kinds of things are exposed at these networks. And I think a lot of times they're trying to hide that information. So they push back on NeNe like, sweetie, chill out. So NeNe is saying that she is trying to get Kathy Griffin to be one of her key witnesses because she was one of the first ever stars on Bravo. And what she went on to say was, long before the Real Housewives, Kathy had her own hit show on Bravo, My Life on the D List. Put Andy Cohen on the map at a time when the network was basically still a startup. Kathy knows everything about Bravo and Andy. She was there from day one and saw how the machine operates. NeNe knows that. And so when that happened, the Real Housewives of Atlanta producers and their attorneys went to go meet with Griffin because they're trying to figure out, like, okay, sweetheart, what's going on here? So they're trying to also get themselves to Kathy Griffin as well before there's any sort of court date. Now, NeNe is set to go to court. What is it, August 12th? We had a lot of people going to court, a lot of cases to watch. So NeNe is set to go to court on August 19th. And she's hoping that they're able to negotiate before August 19th, similar to Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. But NeNe is basically not going away. She plans to fight until her last breath. She knows there are others who claim they haven't been treated right by Andy. She just has to get them to be brave enough to speak out, knowing they will never work on television again. She says she's been blacklisted from booking other jobs in the entertainment space as a result of her speaking out. She says that if she gets Griffin to come as a witness, then the floodgates will open up and other people will follow her lead and help her with her case. And here's my thing. It just sounds too self-serving. I could see if there was something in it for Kathy, but it's not. And so her stepping out on a ledge just for you, I think she wouldn't go there. I don't think she'd be willing, especially if their lawyers are already trying to get to her first. I don't think that, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think you have enough star power to swindle someone to serve your purpose and not look at theirs. I don't think you have it like that. Nah, you ain't got that effect yet, NeNe. And it sucks because I feel like this case is either going to be dismissed or it will not be settled or handled in NeNe's favor, simply because there's not a lot of people trying to cooperate with her on this. And it's unfortunate that the years of racism that she says that she's faced at Andy Cohen and Bravo, she doesn't have, like, she at that time wasn't making, some claims and coming out saying things, she waited till things soured down, because that's going to be the narrative they spin. She gets fired off the network, and all of a sudden now, and instead of, well, she had a documented complaint of this back in this date, or on this date, or on this date, or on this date. But we'll see. I'm indifferent when it comes to NeNe, because I do see stunts being pulled all the way around. Pure Honey, she needs to be in the Pose ballroom with Mother. Oh, she definitely set this up for the future, because now ballrooms, they're all gonna be like, okay, put on, already put it on. They're gonna mix it already up, and it's gonna be like continuously. I could see this becoming an old record that people play in the ballrooms, thinking like we looking at like a new record. I can see them in the future saying, that's why Renaissance in the future saying, put on that put on, she done entered that space. So I see a lot of novel things in this album. You're absolutely right. I don't even ballroom dance, but I caught myself doing a little hunty. I caught myself trying. I was getting it. I was watching this video on TikTok of these Asian dancers. I said, y'all probably don't even know what she's saying, and y'all killing this shit. Y'all are eating it. They was eating it up. I swear one day I'm gonna just learn a dance and put up a video myself. NeNe, please give it up. And when you give it up, give it away. Don't give it up. Give it away and don't ever get it back, because it's just annoying. She could have went away, got on another network, got on another TV show. Like I was telling FAMU, get your fucking bag first, girl, while you got the time and the opportunity. Get your bag, NeNe. Went to another network, and then you go after their asses while you still got some leg room in the game. Now you just completely out the game. You ain't got no damn leg room. But wasn't Andy NeNe's good Judy? Yeah, they were tight until she got diminished in Real Housewives of Atlanta. Down to, like, I think it was one episode per season or something like that. and they started, boosting up Candy. She didn't like that. But my thing is, that was their silent way of, girl, get off the show. We don't want to kick you off, but child, go find something else to do. You're over dominating the show. It's always about NeNe. And I think she didn't take the cue. I think she just wanted to ride the wave. It was her only thing, her only opportunity. And the talks of a TV show went away when Wendy Williams was like, hell no. Oh, you gonna talk shit to me and think you coming to Debmar Mercury? No, ho. Yes, Kathy can't stay Andy. Kathy knows dirt. I don't think Kathy will I don't think she will serve on behalf of them though. I just don't. I think she still likes to have that ace in the hole with Bravo. And if she gives it away on this, then it's like, all right, now we can just deal with you as the fuck you are instead of holding you to a level of, all right, some shit. Do you think NeNe been blacklisted or her attitude? I think it's a combination of both. I think her attitude at that network and then just giving all the way around, and then a combination of this lawsuit was like, oh, hell no, girl. You fuck around, try to sue us. And it's unfortunate, but I'm a black man, and I'm telling you that's how it looks. No racism in it, but it definitely gives me, you're going to come over here and try to pull some shit. Make sure y'all give her a tight contract. I'm talking about line that bitch up with 10 contracts. Every motherfucking, give her a whole 180 contract. I need her to be tight, so tight, she can't even tweet. She doing shit with us. I think that's how it is. And if you have to go to that level of extreme to close one of your talents, I think people are like, no. I'm gonna even say this: BET ain't even give the girl a show. I mean, the woman a show. BET will give Andrew Caldwell a show. No shade, get your bag, boo. But whoa, it goes something to say like, girl, it ain't just them who don't want to deal with you. It's a lot of us who don't want to deal with your ass either. And unfortunately, you don't see it. And you can't blame it on Greg and his passing and how you changed and you're this softer image. I still see the same NeNe has hindered her. I do think her attitude is definitely hindered her. I mean, think about it. She got that beautiful restaurant in Atlanta, and it's not as critically acclaimed yet. Like when I say critically acclaimed, you have a few celebrities go, but they're like C-list and B-list. She can't even pull like A-list celebrities to come to her restaurant. Candy can't either, but at least Candy has more traction in the community. It just seems like she's just NeNe is this castaway, not only by them, but also by a few other folks too. But she's contributed a lot. I'm not gonna take that away from her. She's definitely have. I mean, reality TV wouldn't be the way it is if it wasn't for little NeNe Leakes and others. Because I think New York Tiffany Pollard was also, or Tiffany New York Pollard was also just up there too. Good morning, Miss Margot. Happy Monday. Kathy just came back after being Trump. Run, girl. You in danger. Morning, fan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. NeNe, you should have tried to meet to Kathy quietly. Say you seen Aries, we be here. Why the fuck would you do that publicly? No, why would you? What are you doing? And then you go to her Twitter page, and I tell you, it's nothing but a pity party. It's nothing about her retweeting her fans, telling her we wish you was on TV. Housewives is not funny no more. You need your own TV show. I swear to God, those are the three main things. We miss you on TV. Real Housewives of Atlanta is not interesting anymore. You need your own show. And she's always, I can't get my own show. I'm blackballed. I know. I wish. Call the network and tell them. And it's like, girl, create a whole separate Twitter page and let someone do that kind of talking for you. You need to like sort of move up out of that whole woe is me. You carrying it a little too heavy. You can be a little woe is me, but it's a lot of woe is me. You need to come. Where is that whole NeNe? We need that. Girl, get on YouTube. Stop being lazy. Start making clips on Twitter. Shit. What's her name? From the Basketball Wives, Tammy Roman. She's not as up there, but shit, she got gigs. She's booked and busy. She definitely got gigs. So, and she was nasty as hell too. I used to say like, damn, you got a bad nasty ass attitude, but she's worked that in her favor and moved on. I think you should have done that same thing. Now you out here crying Patty, You know, it's like she gonna get herself blackballed. She better go get a podcast. Hey, Very Carey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for coming through. That diva head bitch in charge of attitude. Right. It's like grow up and get over it. Like my thing is like I say shit like, do you see Patti LaBelle sitting down with a NeNe Leakes? And then if you say no, why? Why don't you see that? And then those be the question I want to ask that person. Do you think you like just overly a little too much? Like you haven't grown. Sometimes you glam up. What is it called? Your glow up. Yeah, you glow up in your entertainment career. You're premature. You're still young, and then eventually you blossom into this. Oh, you get it. You got some level of ownership of it. It just seems like NeNe has just been running around here, trying to carry the same wave for these same years. And even us, even when we was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, we used to be like, towards her end of her demise, like, damn girl, why you acting like that? Because our favorite was Candy. They boosted her up, and we started looking at you like, yeah, no. I think she can pivot and come back from this. I absolutely do think she can pivot, but it will definitely take her some months to stop talking about it. If you want to pivot, you have got to, because it's the first thing networks and shows talk about. You, girl, is she at Zeus? I was going to say, don't she got a show or something at Zeus coming? Maybe you should go to Zeus. They looking for talent out they ass. You might be good for Zeus. You and yeah, just you, maybe you and Zeus. Or Jaslyn. What's her name? Jocelyn. You and Jocelyn. Y'all go to Zeus. Doreen, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, Flav. Flavor Flav. Yep. Oh my God. That man looked like I could never. Now that's a hell no. No matter how wow. Yikes. I just had a whole visual. Now it's about the man. You see it. It's like, girl, do you want me to go pull up a show where you was talking mad shit on on Real Housewives, but now it is relevant to you about protecting Black women and putting you back on TV. And here's the other part. I could see if she was doing something good, like if she was doing charity balls or galas in her community, where it may be like, oh, you do have a right to come out here, but girl, you want us to fight because you got fired, pretty much. Like, I don't know. I can't call it on this one. I can't. Yes, Tammy booked it. Tammy is booked. And I like it for Tammy too. I like it. Like, she's someone that I'll support even if I'm not interested in the content, because I get the hustle, that grind. I like that shit. Like, she had her Bonnet Chronicle series, and people still take on to that. She had a title podcast, and I used to watch those. It was like definitely recorded with one camera, and it looked like it was a camera phone, but it was interesting. I watched it, so I fuck with her. I definitely fuck with her. I can see her doing a talk show. She has the personality. Tammy or NeNe. Remember, she said she crashed Trump. Oh yeah, she cashed Trump checks. Yes, I remember that. I cashed Trump checks. Where them Trump checks at, girl? You already done sold your property where you and Greg lived, which I thought was very interesting. I was like, I wonder how his side of the family look at NeNe. That's them the people I need to come out talking. I don't know if she got them wrapped up in a non-disclosure agreement or whatever. Good, NeNe. Good. That's good. Girl, that's good. Family and friends, bitch. Wrap them motherfuckers up in an NDA. I told my family and my friends that if I ever, I ain't gonna talk to you until you sign it. Oh no. And I want to come I'm not just coming for a lot of money. I want to come for possessions that I know matter to you. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. So maybe they're wrapped up, but Greg's family, I would like to hear, not the kids, but his side of the family, his parents or sisters or relatives. I'd like to hear what they think about what's going on. Like, because I'm sure not all of them are on the same page. I'm sure it's one of them relatives that'll tell the real deal. Like, seriously. I'm just saying, y'all don't think Zeus? I could see her over there maybe cooking in the kitchen and just having she has to be positioned in an authentic environment that will help her carry that fake ass. Because let me tell you about that. You do that for so long, and then you grow up out of that, and it just naturally becomes who you are. I felt like NeNe had grew into that, but once you step out of Real Housewives of Atlanta and you carry this, girl, what kind of deals you trying to land? People ain't like this all the time out in public. You know, that's just like somebody. I just saw a one-trick pony. That's like a one-trick pony. Like, okay, and I just see her like. So if you want to be like that, you need to be in like a real ass environment. That way, all of this is sort of overshadowed. You know, you may be cooking something, or I don't want to see her sit down and talk to nobody because I don't feel like she has enough entertainment experience to ask the questions that I think most people want to. She'll need a lot of people, writers and producers behind her to help write some of that shit. Can you imagine her interviewing someone like, I'm not even gonna go high, like a Will Smith or someone like interviewing NeYo's wife and talking about what's going on? Can you imagine her doing that? First of all, I'd be so confused, like, NeNe? We as the viewer be looking at her questions like, what you got to ask? So I think she has to rebuild her reputation as someone who can give credible commentary and not be like this all the time, because that's all we see. Even in her tweets, when I'm reading them like this, like, damn, you poppy in your tweets. So yeah, she gotta for her to like soar, she gotta grow up. That's what I was saying. Is you gotta grow up, girl. You gotta grow the fuck up. You got it. You got the name. You're a household name. You're there. All this antics and shit. What are you doing? What are we doing? Is it not enough deals on the table? Fire some people from around you. Do something. And then you got this boyfriend who should have never been public. I don't know if you wanted to have a new story or wanted to stay relevant in the media, but you should have never put him public. If that's your true boyfriend, you should have kept him low and put somebody else out here on the street to do your dirty work. Just like, and not to dibble on something else, but I'll be reading all these hot topics. So J-Lo, her first husband, baby, he came out and did a whole interview about J-Lo. And when I tell you the details were so fucking juicy, I said, oh, she was a slapback. J-Lo got a little luck in her. He was like, you know, a bunch of the whole story, but he was like, J-Lo, he didn't even know that J-Lo had dipped out on him. One day he saw it in the newspaper and he called her up when she was in New York because she had told him, I had to go to the studio and film this record, and left him, I think it was LA, and they just got married. And she went over there, right? And next thing you know, he saw these pictures, called her up. J-Lo was like, look, it's business. Don't take it personal. I was told I had to do this. Smooches. Well, 2 months later, she was like, she fired him as her stage manager, and then sent him a divorce letter. And he was just like, no, what the fuck is going on? And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, she just has ladders to climb up. Just, you know, you were relevant at this point, and so revert back to NeNe. It's like, what are you doing? You know, you keep putting these men. Is he another person to get you to the next level, the next level? Gotta stop talking, NeNe. You just gotta woosah, girl. Get on YouTube. Be your do something. Like, I know you want to be seen. You can do it. Like, I don't get it. When you got a household name, don't play with that shit. I wouldn't be playing with my bag. NeNe, Tokyo Tony, and Jaguar, give them a show. Oh my God. See, Zaire, you just said something though in this statement. Can you imagine NeNe with the likes of Tokyo Tony and Jaguar, right? You see how authenticity plays itself out? NeNe's whole would not fly with a Tokyo Tony, because see, Tokyo Tony is more authentic. We know that's her day in and day out. NeNe is not so much like that. And I don't think she'd be able to handle a Tokyo Tony or a Jaguar, right? I think she'd be lost in the sauce, but she'd been wanting to play this kid. It's like, girl, fall into your new lane. You're not that no more. You know, you're not that. Sort of like Wendy too, as she's getting older and doing this podcast. I'm hoping she's going to curve into, you know, a more mature sort of Wendy Williams. I used to didn't like her, especially on Basketball Wives. She was a bully. I used to hate that shit. I used to be like, why y'all so fucking scared of Tammy? Damn. Then my my hate for the show shifted to Lozada, and to this day I can't stand Lozada. I can't stand nothing she do. When they used to have the dislike button, I used to dislike all her shit. I could not. I still can't stand her. And then it changed to Shawnee O'Neal because I just think Shawnee just thinks she is just cream of the like. She got that best cooch. My husband Shaq, and She said your services are no longer needed. Bitch would have got a bag thrown all across the tables. Shawnee was protected. She the producer and the talent on the show. That would have been my first problem. We got a problem here. They was in the talking stage. Zeus Coins probably wasn't right. Oh, okay. I knew she was doing something. That's why I was hesitant because I read something. Zeus Coins wasn't probably right. She better take on shit, girl. A $10,000 a month check is better than nothing at this point because it don't sound like she got too much of anything. Everybody signed a non-disclosure agreement. Greg daughter been talking, and she cut Greg family off allegedly. I figured it. I feel like she did. I feel like that's a part of this too. I feel like she's definitely cut them off to get rid of the home that you and your husband shared. Not only y'all shared, but sort of was like a family home between his family and your family so quickly, and be frolicking out here with this other man. It feels like you have no ties to a family, either his family or yours. It just doesn't feel like too soon. Like I would still be crying around there, maybe, I don't know, or maybe you there's too many memories. I don't know, but somebody, like if anything happened to my TT, I'm not selling her home. I'm not selling her home at all. No, I'll probably rent it out or keep it for myself. I don't know, but I'm not selling her home. Not within the first 5. It's gonna be so sentimental. I grew up in that home, so I don't know. It's weird. Didn't her kids grow up in that home? They would be fighting. Oh, Tokyo Tony would definitely. That's what it should be called, the mothers of reality TV, and put all them bitches on one show and let them fight each other. Okay, yes, that's what will make it funny. Me either. Okay, at all. Child, they caught Wendy Williams sleep at LB store. I saw that picture. Oh my, what are we gonna do with Wendy? She got to come out here. She got to come back into the face, but it's like, baby, make sure you're taking your meds. Oh my God. Tammy was just acting. They had to act that way for storylines. Okay. Shawnee is Shawnee is the kind of person that you cannot trust to be on your side. And Shawnee is a clique kind of girl. She is motivated by having a lot of people around her who go up for her. And some people they need that. They need people to go up for them in order for them to be like, have some boost. Even if you got the boost, you still need to have motherfuckers walking in behind your steps. And that was Jennifer Lozada and Evelyn Lozada and Jennifer. And Jennifer was somebody else I couldn't stand either. Jennifer just made me I just wanted to grab her by the hands and walk her to the hospital. I really felt like she had mental issues. I know she lost her mother. I knew a lot of things happened to her, but she just seemed like she was out there all the time, waking up out there. Like, she just gave me spacey. And why are you spacey? Like, you're not, why are you so spacey? That show was something else. So that's NeNe and NeNe Leakes and her lawsuit. Now let's get into this other shit, because I was like, wait a minute. So NeYo wife accuses him of cheating on her for 8 years. 8 years? And not just cheating on him. Let's read what this says. 8 years. So she posted this on her Instagram. 8 years of lies and deception. 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and husband with numerous of women who sell their bodies to him unprotected. Pause on the motherfucking play. And that's where I had to read and stop. NeYo out here for 8 years buying prostitutes. I mean, what the fuck? I said, NeYo buying. I said, something doesn't sound right. I know that, a lot of males in the industry, rappers and stuff, they pay for prostitutes, strippers and all that kind of shit, right? But NeYo, I'm like, is it prostitutes he's paying for? Or are you just saying that to cover up for something else? So then she goes on in a statement to say, Every last one of them. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is understatement. To ask me to stay and accept it is absolutely insane. The mentality of a narcissist. I will no longer lie to the public or pretend that this is something it isn't. Okay, because I'm watching. I choose me. I choose my happiness and health and my respect. I gained 3 beautiful children out of this, but nothing else but wasted years and heartache. I ask that you all please stop sending me videos or information of him cheating because what he does is no longer my concern. I am not a victim. I'm choosing to stand tall with my head held high. If someone can't love you the way you deserve them, it's up to you to love yourself with no hate in my heart. I wish him nothing but the best. I read that and I said, oh, this sounds like she really, really is like over it and done. Like she's tried everything. She, it just sounds like, when you get to a point like, bitch, I'm done. You can tomorrow, you can go be with another nigga in front of me. And I don't give a fuck, nigga. It gave me that like, ugh, get the, like, go do. And I'm like, what is that level of disgust? And, of course, cheating, but I'm like, with prostitutes and unprotected. See, that unprotected part got me too. Unprotected prostitutes. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think is going on. I'm just gonna leave it like it's a little fuzzy to me. So what I then did was I said, well, back in January, NeYo was on an interview with Essence, and he gave them full-on preview of him and his relationship, because he had just basically back in November they filed for divorce. In January he was saying the pandemic has helped us and blah blah blah. I want you to listen to what he says, and I'm sitting here thinking like something don't sound right. But even then they were going through these issues. So look at his tone then, and then we're gonna get back into this commentary. I know it's gonna be ads, y'all. I'm sorry. I try to get rid of the ads, but they here. Now, while that ad is showing, is it showing still? All right. My baby back here snoring. Y'all hear him snoring? All right, it's 7 more seconds of this ad. So it's basically an interview of NeYo, and he's talking about. She asks him a question. So with your marriage, you recently had some issues. Can you tell us what happened? And he's excitingly sharing that everything is going well with his wife once they decided to open up the lines of communication. So let's get into this. And this is at 10:02.
Because also being in the house, so many couples are like, it's tough, being there. It's like,
the pandemic taught a few people how they really felt about it. It was really some love, or why do you chew so damn loud? I cannot stand how loud. I never noticed how damn loud you close your mouth. It was a lot of that. So I've talked about this before. So me and my wife, we were actually on the verge of divorce right before the quarantine happened the first time, right? What the quarantine did was kind of force us to sit down and have these really uncomfortable discussions that we honestly would not have had otherwise. Like we would have never had the patience to sit in each other's face and just really talk about what we don't like about each other. Like, if I got an excuse to be gone, I'm gone. Hey, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I got a show or whatever, just to avoid the conflict. It made us face the conflict head on. And what that did was basically strengthen us, because now I don't have to pull punches when I talk to you. Like exactly where I stand. I know exactly where you stand. And through that, we've decided to keep going. And it's a more genuine feel to what it is.
I had to pause right there. You heard what he said? That was very key to me. He said, so now I don't have to pull punches out of you. You know exactly where I stand, and I know exactly where you stand. And to me, when people say that, it doesn't sound like it's coming out of a place of we good. It's just a place of we're content. Like, all right, we just gonna play. We gonna do this. This is it. You know where I am, and I get where you are. All right, cool. And in a marriage, to leave a situation like that, to me, seems like he's already been distant, like he's already out of it. But for the sake of his persona and so sick of love songs, so sick of tears, for the sake of that, he's playing into this persona of him being, you know, this sort of good guy. But it's like, as I'm listening to this interview, and now today going back, I'm like, NeYo, you been checked the fuck out. Who says that? I wish a nigga would say, I understand where you are, you understand where I get, and there's no resolution. The fuck you mean? I get what you're saying, but so how are we moving forward? Are you gonna stop sleeping with them prostitutes or not? That's where I'm getting like. So did she at this point was she like, okay, you can sleep with prostitutes unprotected? I get it, and then I can just sit here and be mad, and you get that? Who the fuck? Where this is a whole nother planet kind of relationship. If that's the case, bitch, I don't want.
To what it is we're doing now. It's like, I mean, it's still a learning process, of course, because communication is one of the hardest parts of a relationship. You know, I could talk to you all day long, but if you don't understand what the hell I'm saying, then I'm wasting both of our time. But at the same time, being that we couldn't go anywhere, can't go nowhere, you're sitting in the house, you have no option but to cut the contention. You have to, otherwise you will go insane. So that's when it became, you know what, come on, sit down. All right, I want you to just go, just air it out. Okay, don't concern yourself with my feelings. Don't concern yourself with it sounding good. Just air it out. Go, whatever it is you don't like or whatever. And I'm gonna do the same thing, and then we're gonna see if we don't want to kill each other at the end of it, and work from there.
Yeah.
And not right away. It wasn't like an overnight.
Yeah.
You know, it had that happen a couple times for us to get to the place where it's like, all right, don't choke me. Never mind. You know what I'm saying? It took some doing, but we eventually got to the place where we realized that above anything that we disliked about each other, that the number of things that we loved about each other leaps and bounds. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about at the end of the day.
No quarantine babies coming.
We got the one and we done. That's it.
I wasn't convinced. As now that I watch it, looking back, I'm like, so you were just basically talking bullshit to us, and this whole time your wife was dealing with these issues, and she just kept it cool. And how embarrassing for him to be doing an interview with Essence, who is sort of like empowering for Black women, and you're talking about your relationship with a Black woman. Behind the whole time you've been, you know, dipping out and doing things with people having unprotected sex, and you're married. Essence probably owes it to the wife to have an interview with her at this point, just to say, okay, what's your side of the story and what's going on, if they wanted to. But I just thought that was interesting to hear his take then on where he sees things. You think men prostitutes? I don't even think prostitutes. I think he was just creeping on the down low. And her saying in her statement, y'all can stop sending me pictures and communications because I'm over it, sounds like a little bit of blackmail may have been at play. And you know, she got tired of it and just got herself out of it. And at the end of her statement, it was, whatever they do is between them. I have no more concern. Sounds like her way of, look, I'm not gonna out you, but that's between y'all two. That's me. Allegedly. But we'll see. What only time will tell. I love to mark this shit August 1st, 2022. We talked about it here. But yeah, I definitely think NeYo is using them lips, baby. Them soup coolers he got. Nah, I always thought he was gay. It's something about him. I just can't put my finger in it though. He probably was. Let me stop. That's what I said. You tolerate. It sounds like tolerating. Finger on it. Oh, doesn't really have to be male prostitutes though. The thing with sex and marriage is that its lifeblood is communication, talking and listening. You don't have to do that with a prostitute. Some men and women are not up to the task of what it takes to maintain that talking and listening to stay married. That's true. It is work. I always hear it's work to be married. It ain't like it's just you married and then it's no, it's communication. People evolve, people change, and it takes constant changing too. You're right. And he's young too, but I definitely think there's some frivolousness going on. He'll I ain't saying he won't, but so after he had his interview, she and then he remarries his wife Crystal back in April 26th of this year, 2022. And then all of a sudden we get this. And so he releases this statement: for the sake of our children, my family and I will work through our challenges behind closed doors. Personal matters are not meant to be addressed and dissected in public forums. I simply ask that you please respect me and my family's privacy at this time. And so I'm like, I mean, did y'all see the picture? I didn't have to crop that in there, but I just thought it was so fucking funny that somebody put this whole whale in his forehead like that. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. NeYo, respect your privacy. We didn't put it out here. Your wife did. And so if there was nothing there to be put out there, you wouldn't be asking us to respect your privacy. It's gonna be talked about. Get ready for it. And get ready for it. And like I tell other celebrities when I talk on the show, instead of closing it off, you need to deal with it because it only harms you in the long run. Say you go and put out a song that's a lovey-dove song, and now we know all of this shit behind the scenes. It's not gonna hit the same way, bro. It's just not. That's why it's best to just get out here. You should have recorded a statement, put yourself there. Hey, I know I hear all the allegations out here that have been lodged against me from my wife. It's unfortunate. We're going to spend some time together so we can talk and work this out. Please give us the time we need. It needs to be more personable, and it needs to be a little bit more because you sound innocent. You sound guilty as hell. You just do. And I'm just shocked anybody will let you get away with 8 years of cheating on it. That bag, after she got 5 kids with you, I mean, that bag been secured. So at this point, I don't know what she was holding on to. Love, maybe. So that's how I felt about the NeYo situation. Hey, Shantae, good morning, good morning, good morning. Being married is hard as shit. I can only imagine living with somebody else is being hard as shit. That's where I'm at. I'm at the living with you part. I haven't even got to the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God. Then I always be like, when I get married, I want to have my own bedroom. People be like, that's not even possible. That's not like, even if you could do that, there's still some level of y'all having to be in the same room together at some point in time. I mean, I'm like, yeah, no, but I would love, he can get his own room too, but I would love to have my own step away from every fucking body, little space. And I know that's not the ideal thing, but shit, if I could, I am. Yeah, marriage is work. The first thing I told my daughter was, he ain't gonna be cut to you every day, and you ain't gonna be cute to him. Marriage is hard. Yeah, it is. NeYo is a typical man in the industry. Ugh. I would have passed on that so quick. Good morning, the plainest Jane. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Shantae. I would have passed on him. Like, they have 3 biological children between them. His first 2 children were with his first wife. And he said the one they had earlier this year or last year was the last one that they're gonna have. And I said, that's a little bold. The one thing I learned about marriage is do what works for you. Don't listen to anyone else. It's true. That leads to a lot of open relationships. I'm not for the open relationship. I just can't. You need your private space of some kind. I'm like that. I have mine. My husband has his. Bedroom is mutual, though. You better believe. Yeah, that's how my TT and my my TT and my uncle was. They both had separate spaces. They did, and it was like it was like so interesting because she would be even trying to manage his space, and she got her own space. Why it looks like this? Why is it like that? Redecorate his whole space. Gets him a TV, in his space, update it and shit like that. So yeah, I'm all for having your own space. All right, you all. The last two topics. So this Bishop Lamar Whitehead thing. Oh my God. So the bishop being robbed at gunpoint during a live stream sermon. So fucking crazy. I'm sure you all have saw the clip. And I mean, I watched the clip and I'm just like, I was not, I mean, I wasn't moved. Maybe it was because of having read so many articles prior to watching the clip. I came to my own conclusion about him and this entire situation. So we're gonna talk about it. So I don't know if you all have saw the clip or not, but I'm gonna play the clip for you all for those who may have not heard or saw about this situation. But it's the Brooklyn Bishop Lamar Whitehead who was robbed during a live stream of his one of his sermons.
At gunpoint. In the middle of a church service, and the whole thing happened during a live stream. Bishop Lamar Whitehead says 3 men waving guns stole hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from him and his wife. It happened about 9:30 this morning at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Canarsie. The bishop.
So that's pretty much what happened. You can see it on the camera and they come in here and do that. And so he, he holds a press conference after this. He's sort of an acclaimed pastor. He knows Eric Adams, the mayor, and when he was the Brooklyn borough, I guess the mayor of Brooklyn, he was sort of the his friend. He's also the guy who turned in the subway, the guy who was stabbing someone on the subway. So for him, he has this air about himself. He's also someone who boasts about the shit that he has, the cars he drives in, the jewelry, and all this good stuff. So when he got robbed, some people were like, that's what you get for flashing all this shit. And I'm sitting here looking like, y'all better stop playing thinking that man got robbed. First of all, no. I do not. Do I think this was actual like robbery? No, I think this was a staged setup by him, given these details. So apparently he's being sued by this 56-year-old woman. Now she's suing him, and this little story is so fucking crazy. I'm sitting here looking like, I just find it so interesting how our most vulnerable populations can be persuaded by people like him. So she just got out. She was sick. This 56-year-old woman, she was sick. She was just getting out of the hospital from this life-saving treatment. And she couldn't get a mortgage to get a home because she didn't have good credit. And so her son, who knew him, because the son was going to the church at the time, connected those two. She agreed, after having conversations, she agreed to allowing him to turn over her life savings, refinance her life savings up to the tune of 90 grand. 90 grand, give it. And she gave it to him, signed it all over to him. She said she saw no receipt of this or anything. The deal was he was going to pay her $100 a month. That would be her life savings. And so after the first check, she didn't stop receiving anything. So then she reaches out to him, and some of his response was, I'm not obligated. It's text messages and all this stuff. I'm not obligated to pay you or anything like that because you donated to me. And he used it for his election because he was trying to run for the mayor of Brooklyn as well. And so she then decides to file a lawsuit in court. And so she submitted a lot of documents, some being text messages, but there's no actual agreement that was written up between these two, which I'm like, and she said she did it because he was a man of the cloth and she trusted him. And this is what happens. It is. And so I went to their website. His church is called Leaders of Tomorrow International Church. So I went to his website, got 2 campuses, and I wanted to see, like, who is he dealing with? So look at this. These are some of the women that I saw on his website, him and his wife. You can see some of the jewelry he has adorned on him. And you can see, these are like professional women who may have had careers, who are maybe in careers. You never know. Some level of, wherewithal. And I'm like, because she can't be the only person. Is he getting more of these women like that? It may not have been to the tune of 90 grand, but it could certainly be $20,000, $10,000, $30,000 that these folks have turned over. Now, what is he doing with all this money? So apparently, he's buying apartments and shit and mansions and shit in New York, right? So one of his investments through his firm is buying up an apartment complex. And so he bought up an apartment complex in the Brooklyn community. Another thing was this mansion in New Jersey, right? So at the time of him helping this woman, 56-year-old woman, right? At the time of doing that, he was also purchasing a $4.67 million home. And actually, how it came to light was he accidentally emailed those documents to the son of the woman. And so he was using the $90,000 as a down payment for that, but that fell through. So his next purchase was these apartment homes. And so he successfully got the apartments home, purchased the apartments home for about $4.5 million. Using the $90,000 of her money as a down payment on that. And so I'm looking at like, this man is a whole finagler. How many other people have been finagled by him in this same light? He also had a personal loan, went to court back in 2016, was sued by a man because he received a personal loan from this man to the tune of $260,000 and he never paid it back. He went to jail for 5 years in Sing Sing prison, and he was released in 2013 on identity fraud. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, who else would know how to stage a motherfucking crime? And then listen to this. When he first reported this, he reported as having it was upwards of $100,000 worth of jewelry on him. His wife had a $75,000 watch, a $25,000 ring on, and he had a $25,000 ring, as well as some other stuff. So it was up between 100 and 400. Now, all of a sudden, it's $1 million worth of jewelry. I said, you know what's next? An insurance claim. I guarantee you it. An insurance claim. Will we ever find these jewels again? Will we ever find the robbers? We don't know. But they did release footage saying that some of the suspects were seen coming into the facility. And I'm like, it just doesn't add up. I need details like, where was the back door staged? Was this a typical service? Were there anybody missing that would normally be man the front door? Do you have security? I need text message conversations that you had either before this or after this, saying that, were you targeted? Like, all of those things come to my mind when I look at this incident. Like, I don't know. He gives me sketchy as hell. What pastor wants to come to a congregation? First of all, your church don't look like, I looked at images of your facility in your church. It does not look like how you look, right? So you look like you boasting and you got all this money, but your church does not give off that at all. And it does not have to, but certainly you should be more modest, and you're not. And I'm sitting looking like the congregation doesn't complain about this, but who knows who else has been tied up in all of this mess. So Bishop, he was accused of scamming this woman in 2020. He also, so recently on July 29th, that mansion that he has, the one he lives in, well, there was a notice on the door basically saying that he was in default of loan of his payment. And I said, that's even more motive for somebody who's money hungry. You're in default on a loan on the mansion you're living in. Sounds like you're trying to get a claim, trying to get some money to recoup something. And I want the jury value, to be honest with you. If it's recuperated, I want it to be valued and assessed, because I don't, a lot of times we be thinking that people walk around here with $75,000 worth of a necklace and a ring on. That shit be $10,000 from your local jewelry around the corner. And because we don't know no better, we assume that it's that much too. So I wasn't falling for it. I need that shit appraised. Now, what's interesting is that he also had an interview with Larry Reed, and it went left. And so I'm gonna show just a little clip of this interview from Larry Reed. I thought this was like, oh shit. They had a little back and forth.
Cannot take jokes. You got the right one, brother. You cannot take jokes. You cannot take jokes. You don't joke when they make my family lie down. All right?
Nobody,
You don't joke. You don't joke.
Ain't
When they
nobody
put a gun to my daughter's face. You don't joke. You don't joke. You don't joke. You crossed the line. You crossed the line.
Okay.
You crossed the line.
Okay.
That's what you did. You crossed the line. You crossed the line. All right?
Okay.
They put that gun in my baby face. You
We
crazy?
talked about that. We
All
talked
right?
about that.
No, and you joked about it.
We
You joked
did not.
about it. You're a clown. I watched you.
I mean, hold on. Genesis, he said we joked about the gun being the
You
baby
want to sit
face.
here and talk about, and we didn't.
Rob.
Brother, I got a life. I got a life, okay? I have a life, all
Yeah,
right? And I'm
you
all
do.
right. I'm all right.
And we're glad about that.
That is material things, brother.
I
That's
get
material
that.
things. I got life. I got
And
life.
we're glad
all right?
you got life.
But something you can't
We're glad.
change is your face. You can't change your face, and you can't change the way you look. The way you look, okay? And that's what you're mad at. And that's why you attack people. That's why you attack the church, all right? And that's why she's teaming up. She's teaming up with you so she can promote whatever she's promoting. She's lost.
Let
okay?
me write you a
She's
check
lost,
so you
all
get a
right?
new
And you don't
backdrop.
even know me, ma'am. You don't even
I'ma
know
write
me.
you a
And
check
I'm
to get
sitting
a
here
backdrop.
watching you. I'm sitting here watching you laugh at me, and you don't even know me. You don't even know me. You don't even,
But
none
you
of y'all
know
can
me.
tell me what I heard and what I sat here and listened to y'all talk about me in my church, all right? Okay? Let me tell you
upset.
something, my family could
That
have
didn't
died,
happen.
and you want to laugh about it?
That didn't
Larry
happen.
Reed,
That didn't happen.
I'm going to say this to you. You could kiss my ass. You and Biggie Smalls.
Okay, and that is why.
Right, he's a man of faith.
What he is.
Whoa. And so, whoa. It's like combination of that and all of that other stuff, bro. You sound guilty as hell. It just sounds like you're so mad that this narrative and these questions are coming out, and you don't want that. You thought everybody was gonna fall for okie doke. It's just you. My thing is, someone like you should have been robbed. If that was you were purely a target and you were literally targeted, you'd have been robbed, and you would have not been robbed during a live stream. It would have been targeted. If someone you're not, I mean, your location is not like somewhere no one can't have access to. So I'm sure you coming out or driving around, you'd have been targeted and robbed. I don't think anybody has the want to go into a church for the front of a congregation, go up to the podium and rob the pastor. What other? I want to see other pastors who've claimed the same thing. And if it is true, it goes to say you should have had security there. But yeah, oh Lord, yes, flashy pastor. I definitely do not want a pastor that's flashy in front of me. Thank you. Insurance grab. That's all I see. All these claims. At first, it was $400,000 worth of jewelry missing. Then it became 700, and now it's $1 million. Okay, I want to see the receipts. I'm not mad at the people that robbed him. He shows up to a poor area with thousands. What do you think? A whole mess. I would just bleach and burn every cap, hat, fedora, torque, snapback, fitted, and even a yarmulke. It's all about. You talking about NeYo? Good morning, AJ. Good morning. Good morning. You weren't the only one who wasn't moved. Neither was the guy sitting in the back, nor was he bothered. Okay. It's the man sitting there like he knew it was about to go down, like almost to the T, like, okay, and he gonna get low. And then my other thing is nobody else in the congregation had their jewelry stolen. You mean to tell me nobody else in there got jewelry, even if it's cheap jewelry? Nobody had nothing else stole because they weren't part of the plan, right? The idea was not to harm anybody at your church, just get you, right? Baby, when this comes out, now BET need to start doing stories, movies on this kind of shit. Give us a movie for real. Is there a police report is the question. Is given stage for the insurance. Yep, $1 million on your neck and your fingers, and your church looks like. I said the same, $100. Like, who in the world can live? I said the same thing. I said that son has to feel really, really bad about that. He has to feel bad. I don't know. I felt Jussie Smollett was innocent. I don't know what to believe anymore. When the church start playing remix games with its congregation. That's a good question. I haven't heard that bitch in what I read on it. Flashy Pastor interview with Tasha K literally made my head hurt. Oh, how he plays word games. Let him. I gotta go see that. Oh yeah, trying to fraud an insurance company. The whole insurance, yes, church as small as a shoebox. Here we go. But you buying up mansions and what? It don't make sense. Something don't make sense. Something don't make sense. LRL says you got thumbtacks on your wall, sir. I mean, he already has a church full of tax-free money, and he still has to steal from his own people at that. That poor woman. I hope it's a signal to the rest of the women in there too, because I know somebody else done got. It's sad and disturbing. It's sick when people use God or Jesus to be in the devil in sheep's clothing. Okay, see how God works. Yep, and already a criminal. First of all, sir, I need to ask you questions before I join your congregation. You out here scheming the girls. Do y'all got a compliance policy on data protection? What's that look like? If I give you my name, how protected is that? Shit pop up in the credit reports and shit. He out there pulling up stuff in your name, holding it all up to the light. All we have to do is look dead at it. Be the death of the 501c3. It was upstairs. So you mean to tell me they got in the building, had nerve enough to go upstairs? Did you see the Mercedes-Benz pull up? I said, yeah, that's staged. That's staged. I hope that woman gets her hope down payment check back. That pastor's a cowardly thief. That son must feel like shit. Yeah, he really does. I would too. He's a dime a dozen. Sorry to say. Yes, he is. And you're right. It is a lot of them out there. How about we just call him Lamar Whitehead? Period. You're right. You're right. You're right. In that neighborhood, and no guards, not even a ring doorbell on the door. That's what he needs, a ring. Sketchy as hell. And you coming in there with allegedly all them jewels. Yeah, I wasn't believing his hype. I hate that Larry got caught up in this mess. All he did was report the news. And then that man was mad because Larry started asking questions and he started some out the blue. I see you. I saw you. Okay. And what the fuck? I'm here asking you questions, sir. As a pastor, that's how you act and respond. I see why you're getting. I would have said, I see why you're getting sued, and started reading off the lawsuit, sir. Well, so we're gonna go this route. I got a couple questions to ask you. What happened to that property? I have a lot. Pastor lacking the fruit of the spirit. Okay, if you are smart enough to accumulate 400,000 worth of jewelry, you don't wear it all at once on your neck. Stupid, no class, not even new money. And who gonna believe that man walking around with 400, let alone $1 million worth of jewelry, just to a Sunday service in the middle of Brooklyn? For who? Because you live streaming it? You doing a lot. A noticeable car, very much so. Wait, nothing got the real pastor came out of him. That's what it was. My daughter. This is not about. We're not there. Had he guarded his jewelry like the Bible said to cover your loins, we would not be here. His true colors came right on out, although they weren't really hidden to begin with. His true colors, yeah, they didn't. And he owes some lady 90,000 on a house deal, which is so slow. He had $1 million worth of jewelry on, and his church looked like a closed bodega with gates on it. I said the same thing. I'm sitting here looking like, can somebody tell me how that makes sense? How does that make sense? He was low-key letting Larry know on a high key that he wanted all the smoke. He can get it. A little, little nigga. And he little too. It's like, bro, come on, let's not do that. He made sure he had every piece on too. And him and his wife. That was a whole setup. Okay, today's the day where you'll wear everything. Go downstairs and get everything. And they put it on too. Tacky. Larry Reed posted this on his Instagram. I have very little remorse for the robber that gets robbed. And I said, bam, and that's it. Even if you did get robbed in this situation, it sort of is like your karma, because that poor woman getting $100 a month from you, that's below the poverty line. I think there's homeless people who receive more in tips, $100 or more a month. Like, are you kidding me? And you should be embarrassed. Can you do $100 a month? That son, if he had brothers or some shit, if he had other siblings, yeah, they might need to just pull you out to the garage and just, figure out what the fuck's going on. I know I would. Like, hold up. The fuck y'all got going on? I'd have been thinking you was involved. Did you get a kickback? For real. All right, so the last story I want to cover before we get out of here is this whole Will Smith thing. So Will Smith finally apologizes. I posted the video, and you know, it's out here now. I have a lot to say about this, but what I want to do is I'm not gonna play the whole video. I got certain parts of the video I want to talk to y'all about. So we're gonna, just like I did the other video, I'm gonna stop it and play. It's only 3 different parts I want to talk about in this video, but I think it's very interesting that, and timely, might I add, very timely, that he came and delivered this to sort of drown it in everything that else has been going on this weekend. Certainly people's attention hadn't been on Will Smith to this extent, but here we are. So first part was, so the first thing I wanted to sort of highlight was the whole fact that, remember we kept talking about, okay, Will Smith and Chris Rock, they need to get together and mend fences, and they need to talk. And the only person we heard from was Chris Rock saying, I'm not going to talk about this right now until Baba us in the third. And I just kept saying, well, why not? Y'all need to have the conversation, have the conversation, have the conversation. And I kept thinking it was Will Smith trying to take the time out to figure it out. Well, I didn't know behind the scenes, Will Smith had been trying to reach out to Chris Rock to have this conversation. And now it makes sense why Chris Rock has been saying, like, nope, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna need till the bag is right. All of these things, because he's already let Will Smith know, no, nigga, we good. You over there, let me do my thing, because he sees this as an opportunity now. It has shifted from, being a moment of an emotional, physical moment to now it's an opportunity for him. And rightfully so. Any professional person in their career will see this as an opportunity. He's in a good grace. He's in a good light. He hasn't said anything that mess up his image, and sort of it's really about Will Smith and what he did. And so he's just riding his wave. And so I was like, oh, wow. So check this part out of his statement. And this is at the,
Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
I said, look at him trying to play politics, and I'm here whenever you want to talk. When people do that, they put the ball back in the other person's court. So to us, it looks like, oh, it's all up to Chris Rock. Now it's up to Chris Rock. Well, it would have never been in Chris Rock's ball had this never happened. So I don't feel bad for Will Smith saying, I'm putting the ball back into, whenever you want to talk, I'm here to talk. I don't feel bad for him having that set of emotions, because you can't slap somebody and then expect them to want to talk to you when you want to talk to them. And I can't expect them to get together and have conversations knowing that this is the kind of energy they have behind the scenes. So it cleared up a lot hearing from him. Now, and you also remember when we talked about this well beforehand, what did I say? I said, Will, before you do anything, go on your fucking break, you got to come out here and talk to these people. You got to say something, even if it's just a, look, I did something that's wrong. I got to go away for a while to get my mind right so I can have, because it gives us context for when you come back and you say this. When you just drop this, I say, okay, let's think about this. Heavy topics are on Beyonce and her album right now. You got the beginning of the month coming up. So there's a lot of different things coming up. You got back to school season. You have a lot of different things in folks' lives going on that this could easily drop to the wayside because it's not as relevant. But it's just out. Like, I did apologize. I did do that. And I'm like, you should have instantly did something like this. You're smart. And another thing is that even though if this is how he genuinely feel, let's say Will Smith genuinely feel this, unfortunately, he's an actor. So whether he feels this or not, he's an actor. We have to really, besides just feeling you on this, we have to see you and walk with you in that step, because you are an actor and you can manipulate how we feel about it. So that's why that little, let me say, this is how I feel. Because you remember instantly, the one thing he posted after he slapped Chris Rock was him and Jada Pinkett in that green room behind the scenes. And it was sort of to the tune of Philly showed up at the Oscars and that's what happened, or if you mess with me, something like that. And it's like, that was your first statement afterwards, and now we're here with this statement. So what do you want us to feel? It should have been, I'm sorry then, and then we get this statement, because then you'll buy us more onto your side. It'll be like, oh, okay, he did it, now we'll be trying to help you heal. Now we're at a point like, okay, wait, got questions, you got answers. Do I still ride for Will? I still support him as an entertainer and actor. I definitely feel like he's made heavy milestones. I can't help but hear about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Will Smith all throughout my life. Do I feel like this is on the same level as a Cosby? No. Do I feel like given how he's warming up and coming back out here, he'll be canceled forever? No. But what I do think is that he is starting to understand that the more his projects dry up, the more it'll hurt him in his career. So I think he's trying to open that door back up, because Bad Boys 4 is supposed to start kicking back up in production. They said they never took that from the table. They were just waiting on the right director to step into the shoes to read the script and really get the vision of what they want to do. So, he got all these projects lined up. He can't have the weight of this on him. So it's like, we get this, but it's, I don't want it to feel like, well, I got to work, so let me do this. It should just be, I see the glossy eyes and I see the Air Force Ones on and the white cap. I get the angle, baby. I get it. It's just, you got people like me who's like, okay, well, come on, honey, let's have this conversation. So let me get to this other part of here that I want to talk about. This was a part. Now, this was how we all were like, remember when I was like, Jada gave him that look like, you better check that nigga. And we all agree. Everybody said it. You can even go back to the clip, because Jada definitely, when he turned around, Jada definitely was like, she did, that look you give, like, all right, you gonna let him? And this was his response to that. And I was like, hold up, Sway. This is at 2.
It's like, after Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. And say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like, I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like, I'm sorry really isn't sufficient.
And I mean, I absolutely agree. Sorry isn't sufficient. It would have been sufficient had you said everything in that response that you said about, I'm sorry to my family, I'm sorry to my fellow, all of that shit, had that came out of your mouth that night afterwards. Because honestly, if you weren't feeling sorry to Chris Rock, if anything, you should have felt sorry to the other folks. But you didn't understand the gravity that was about to hit you. I get that. But those are the people that you should have, knowing how long you've been in the industry, how politics go. I was shocked to see that you didn't extend those certain courtesies, at least publicly, because you could have done it privately, but publicly, like, I'm sorry to Questlove. I'm sorry to all of y'all, but you went quiet. I'm sure you reached out to Questlove and made fences. but we didn't see it. We didn't get to hear that. Now we hear you giving us this spiel, and it's like, you want me to feel sorry for you, and we still got questions. We still wondering, like, so what went wrong? You know, the heat that was put on your family. I don't necessarily think that there was heat put on your family. I think the heat, some of that heat had already been there, like, you know, Jada and the Red Table Talk and shit like that. I just felt like this was a moment that exposes people. You know, everybody has a moment that exposes a dynamic of them. I just feel like you put a lot of weight on it, and you don't have to put that much weight on it. Like, I don't think, you know, I don't think it you Red Table Talk still going on. Your daughter Willow Smith released a track, I think, a couple months ago. I don't think anyone is shunning any of them. I just felt like this is your moment. This was about you, and what happened, what transpired there. Now, the last thing was his last final statement of this whole thing. It confused the hell out of me. I was like, is this some cocky ass shit, or is this, are you like, what's like, who are you talking? Sometimes I think these celebrities think they're talking to the employees that they staff around them, and the way they talk to them, they sometimes put it applies to us, like we work for them. Because I know I don't work for Will Smith, not right now. But check this out. Check out what this was, what he said here. This got me.
I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, you know, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
Yeah, I was confused. It seemed like it was, I know it was wrong. I know it was shocking. I know it was all of that, but I need you to just move forward with me. And I'm like, I don't even think that's a statement, the end of the statement. I think it should have just been like, you know, I offer you the sincere apology. I hope you accept it. And I'm looking forward to it just felt like you almost got us in a bag, and I just hope y'all come, you know, I don't know. It was confusing. And so he put this apology out here. Most folks felt like it was like, okay, you're a little late on this. But okay. And then Chris Rock. Of course, Chris Rock has something to say. So Chris Rock calls Will Smith Shug Smith during his Atlanta comedy show. And so Chris Rock goes on to say, everybody is trying to be a fucking victim. If everybody claims to be a victim, then nobody will hear the real victims, even me getting smacked by Shug Smith. I went to work the next day. I got kids. Anyone who says words hurt have never been punched in the face. He has been performing a handful of shows at the Fox Theater through Sunday for his Ego Death World Tour. I'm like, he's trying to make light out of it, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for him. So the more Will Smith talks, the more he's going to probably make this something. You know, you slapped him, so he's going to slap you in the form of business opportunities. And then something else that was strange to me was Kevin Hart gives Chris Rock a goat named Will Smith on stage at the Madison Square Garden show. And I was just like, was that corny? So check this clip out of him gifting him a donkey named Will Smith. I'm like, that was a little tasteless. That was a little tasteless to me. Like, a donkey? The fuck? You grew up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What the fuck you giving somebody a donkey? And you are the donkey. As y'all can tell, I don't really go up for Chris Rock that much.
Like
a whole fucking donkey.
Like, this nigga does not understand what's happening. Goat has gold chains on. Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, I've been working all my life. This motherfucking goat is on stage at Madison Square Garden. And be like, yeah, nigga, this is my first night in the game, nigga. Yeah.
Goat is just happy he's not in a Jamaican restaurant right now.
Like,
That whole time I was on mute. That's crazy. Baby, get out of here. I agree. Chris doing the right thing, in my opinion. I agree. This Chris material, it puts more money in his pockets. I didn't care for this apology because I honestly, oh yeah, I read that. Well, I mean, he'll talk after his pockets are filled. I like the Smiths so much more when they were mysterious, and I agree. I feel like when they started being public, it just exposed the weirdness. Like, damn, I mean, y'all can be weird in private. A whole million short. Chris said he wanted $1 to speak. Apology not accepted. Will better be thankful he had this publication company already in play. Well, they can get a narrative out. That's why I was so confused why they didn't speak prior to. Like, why didn't he come out and drop some knowledge? Okay. Yeah. You can't get into it either because I can't. He was doing all that pointing. That's what I was saying. He was doing all of that pointing like this. Like, I'm sitting thinking, like, are you pointing at me? Who you pointing? Is it people behind the camera? What is going on? He just looked different in that light. I hope he fired his entire. I agree with you. At least put them bitches on sabbatical or desk duty. Older than me, he just not coming. It's gonna always be a part of his history, though. That was the best line he gave. Not sufficient. Period. Because it wasn't. It wasn't sufficient. It wasn't him or his wife, to be honest. I don't think she sufficiently covered the topic when she did her own show either. It didn't just happen. You made that occur, Will. Yeah, but I've been that way. When I'm mad, I'm mad. I can't feel sorry until years after. Wow. Hopefully those people aren't still around. Now that part was corny. It's like, wait, what? Depending on what it is. Usually if I did what I did, I meant it because it takes a lot for me to go there. Yes, she was. Nichelle Nichols was a beautiful woman. Will still looks good. Nah, I ain't taking that away from him. Crew. I ain't taking that away from him. Bigger and Blacker was always one of my favorite stand-up films, I have to say. Y'all, I cannot believe this whole time y'all was sitting there. He talking. We missing it. Oh my God. I'm trying to read. Woo! On that, y'all know that means what that means. Oh my God. My bad, y'all. Kevin goofy as fuck for that. That was like, Kevin, what are you doing? Stay out of it. This don't involve you, Kevin. Chill out. I think Kevin is trying to align himself with the likes of Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. That's what I think. And I think doing this is like favor towards them. But you be careful playing that game because the tide always turns. You never know where it's gonna fall. So just a little quick recap before we get out of here. We got 5 minutes. So we cover in rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols passing away at 89. Her son shared that story with us. Rest in peace to her. We also talked about the Weather Channel and they having a slur during their broadcast. It was crazy because they had this image pop up on the screen that says, "Hello, Des Moines. This is your weather, my ends." We talked about the FAMU girl who picture went viral all over social media and debated whether this was appropriate or not. You got my take on it. We talked about Megan and Tory, how Tory wants to push the date back because his lawyer allegedly has too many cases right now. And the judge said, nope, we'll wait. We talked about Tupac and his sister, how she's claiming that Tommy Wiley, the business executive who signed Tupac to Interscope, has been shady with the money. And so she's trying to open this up with a new lawsuit, and I hope that prevails. His sister Sakaiwa Shakur. We talked about R. Kelly and his sisters who spoke out in his defense of him, and we played the interview, and it's just so interesting to hear them give their take, even though some of the stuff I felt like they knew they were lying innately. We talked about Chance and Kanye, the video that went viral of Kanye lashing out at Chance and Chance clearing it up, basically saying it was a misunderstanding. We talked about Beyonce's album dropping and the first week predictions, it being leaked, some of what the lyrics were, samples, and all that good stuff. Shout out to Queen B. We talked about NeNe Leakes and her lawsuit against Andy and Bravo, and how she's looking to have Kathy Griffin star as her witness in her lawsuit. And I'm like, oh my God. So you crying racism, you got to go get the white woman to help you out. All right, NeNe, I'm right now, all I'm going to do is stay in my reporting mode. I'm not going to offer any additional criticism. I'm just going to report on what I see, because I think that will help you see what I see. And we talked about NeYo accusing his wife, accusing him of cheating on her for 8 years, and then how he wants us to respect his privacy and while they deal with their stuff. NeYo, please put on a hat. I mean, if this is you nowadays, put on a hat, because this was you when you were doing your interview earlier this year. Whew. With a hat, he like a whole nother person. We would have to sleep together with a hat on or a do-rag on or something. Yeah, he would have to have a do-rag on, walking around the house like, nigga, now I know you ain't enough space for me and that. Okay. We covered Bishop Lamar Whitehead, and this is something like a robbery, but it's smelling like a scam to me. We'll stay tuned. We will stay tuned. And then finally, we talked about the Will Smith apology, and how, yeah, we'll need a little bit more than that. It's already late, so it's gonna have to be late with a purpose. And that's all we talked about today. My apologies for going on mute. I cannot believe I went on mute like that. Love your recaps in case I don't get around to the replay. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, and shout out to the news crew. Shout out to you all. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm back Wednesday with local news, and we got quite some stuff to talk about. If you haven't got a chance to check out the Emmett Till trailer for the biopic that's coming out, do so. If not, I'm gonna share it on Wednesday. And we got some other crazy local stories to get into. I missed a whole lot last week, and baby, we got a lot to talk about. So, and if you come up with any topics and you want to let me know, you can either comment under this video, or you can send me a message to my email, or you can hit me up on the Instagram DM or Twitter DM. All at King Roman News or Roman. It's somewhere. Oh yeah, it's right. It's right here. Yeah, y'all know I'm playing. And until next time, y'all, News Crew, I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you all again. I'm sorry about last week, but we right back at it. Ain't nothing but a thing. So until next time, deuces. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through, gonna give you that news just like you know it can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News. Let's go. Let's start this show.